Probably should turn that off.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this Thursday. 41 days until the NFL season kicks off for real. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. I fired up for another day, fired up for the weekend just around the corner, starting to look at things through a football perspective. Like, I got an email from our club that Saturday you can sign up for all of the fall golf events. And I look at the golf events and I get excited and I went, ooh, what college football games are on that day? Right. Can I actually do this? And I haven't thought that way in a while. So that's a positive to me. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can. Right. I had a guy who hit me up and we've now played golf 2 Saturdays in a row. And I usually don't play on the weekend, but played last Saturday. It was fun. I'm playing this Saturday. And I'm like, they're like, hey, I want to make this a regular thing. I said, yeah, right until Labor Day weekend. I go, then after that, I'm out, boys.
Right.
Because you don't play early. If you want to get an 8 o'clock tee time, I'm in. I can miss game day. But I ain't missing the noon kick. Big noon kickoff is right around the corner, everybody.
They roped you in. That is for sure. So I don't blame you. We wait 200 plus days for the 2 football seasons. So, one provides a lot more off-season activity than the other. But basically, it's like, yeah, my season lasts, especially the college season. I mean, it's hardcore for 3 months. And then it takes them forever to do the playoffs. I mean, if we didn't love our football so much, we would really come down hard on the college football playoff system. I mean, they've got, 11 games, and they spread them out over 8 weeks? I mean, it's ridiculous. But we love our football, so we give them a pass. But it does affect their ratings by the end of it. We've moved on to that thing called the NFL playoffs, and we've left our college playoffs behind based on the ratings, at least the last couple years. Semifinals not doing as well as the rest of the tournament. But I thought you had moved ahead, and I'm not taking a shot because we all as fans have experienced this, where you suffer the kind of loss on the calendar in which you go, well, baseball season ended today.
So you're referring to perhaps having a 7-0 lead heading into the 7th inning and managing to blow the game? Is that what you're referring to?
Well, it's more than that, Mark. It's
is
having
it? Tell me what else it is, David.
Well, those are the, nuts and bolts of it. Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Up 7-0 at home.
Oh, yeah, yes.
But also, who was pitching?
Well, Mr. 6 innings, Tarek Skubal. Apparently, he can't get through a 7th because he didn't yesterday. 6 2/3 started getting roughed up. They had to pull him, and the blank hit the fan.
Yes, it did. Yes,
And if
it
you
did.
start to look at this season for Detroit and the sheer number of leads they've blown from the 7th inning on, I believe if they would have won like half of these games, David, they would be clearly in first place.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah.
close.
Said it yesterday. They need a closer.
Right.
One guy. Honestly, one guy who is, pretty good, but he's in a situation where he's not getting a lot of attention, and he could come in for 2 months. At least it felt like he could have until yesterday. Okay. But as it turns out, Tigers blew a 7-0 lead at home in the 7th with not just their ace, but, emotionally, they kind of, this guy's the best in the league. When we send him out and we give him 7 runs, that's laughable. This game's over. We won it. And they lost it. And
Yes, they did.
That's kind of when, as a general manager, you turn around in the suite when the game's over and you look at your staff and you go, well, I guess we're sellers. And that's it. That's it. Season ended yesterday, late afternoon. I couldn't believe it. I turned away from the game. And then I see a headline about Scooble saying goodbye to the fans. And oh, by the way, Tigers lose in extras. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I have very few sports teams notifications on my phone. The Detroit Tigers are one of those teams.
Right.
So on my phone, and yesterday I was the passenger. I rode someone else's cart. So we had music going. We're having a good time. And I'm just kind of glancing. Oh, look at that. They're up 7-0.
Right.
Finish the round, get up to the clubhouse, order my iced tea. 7-5.
Yeah.
Huh?
Right.
Uh-oh. By the time I'd left, it was 7-7. I got in the car, turned the game on, and we're going to extra innings.
Yeah.
Where they proceed to lose after giving up 2 in the 11th, scoring 2 in the 11th, and then losing in the 12th inning, 10-9. Yep. David, I'm with you.
It's over.
Season over. 7 below 500 would have been 5 games. They're right there. I thought the season ended. Trade me right blanking now. Get him out of there. Right. They're not good enough.
No, trade him before he gets hurt. Don't laugh, Mark. All right. I'm a Mets fan. And in 2006, the Mets were going to win the World Series. And they were in Miami right around the trade deadline. And their standout 8th inning guy got hurt as a passenger in a taxi ride a day before the trade deadline. And the Mets kind of rearranged their team to go get an 8th inning guy. And it didn't work out. They got beat in the NLCS to the 83-win Cardinals. Okay, and in New York, they still talk about it. It's kind of like, we lost the World Series because of a taxi accident. That's like the Giants. We lost the Super Bowl because Plaxico shot himself. I mean, I'm with you, Mark. I trade Scooble today because God forbid tomorrow he gets in a cab. Honestly, trade him now. Now.
Call Milwaukee, call the Dodgers. But, yeah, they're done. And, Yep. But, it's been a crazy week because Detroit's blown a couple of games that they had, and they were in this. Pittsburgh won the first game against Arizona, and then they've lost a couple. The Marlins, who had lost 12 straight games. 12 straight games.
Wow, the Marlins are unbelievable.
They really are, because here they are. They've lost 12 in a row. Now, Philadelphia comes to town, and I believe they'd lost 6 of 8 after the break. So things were not good. They hadn't won a series since the break. I thought it was 6-8. I could be wrong. Philly comes to town. And you got to be thinking, and David, I did something that you'd either be proud of or scared of. I'm not sure which, maybe a little of both. But I've been listening to a little more MLB radio lately because the trade deadline's coming. And they do actually on that radio network talk about trades, because what the hell else are you going to talk about?
Right.
So they were talking about betting on Monday, and basically, they pulled a Moulton. Basically, it was whoever the guy was on was a backup the truck guy for the game one of the series between the Phillies and the Marlins. The Phillies are going to win this. Da, 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 da. And the other guy just says casually, don't you kind of have to go the other way here? Because he had a 2-team parlay with somebody, and he's like, I don't know. Just kind of challenged him.
Right. When you've lost 12 in a row, are you really going to lose 13?
And then the Marlins do what? They sweep the Phillies.
With 2 big comebacks in the sweep also.
Yes. And now the Phillies are no longer, even close to the Braves. Hell, they're only 2 up on the Marlins. And they're the final wild card because of what has happened with the rest of the league throughout the week. So it has been it has just been a crazy, and we talked about this, that this week and the rest and through the weekend will determine so much of what is going to happen at this deadline. And the Marlins, I was ready for them to be sellers. I don't know now. They're only 2 back of the Phillies for the last wild card spot.
Yeah, you can't be. You can't be.
No.
I'm sorry, you can't be.
And I go back to what I think you may have said, and I said before, David, how often, and I know the Mets have a history of stinking. I get it. And I'm not doing that because you're a Mets fan. But with the money they're spending, how can you count on them being bad every year? How many chances are you going to get to be a playoff team in a division with the Phillies, Braves, and Mets?
Yeah, exactly. And it's why for you, I have been going over the deep end about the Rays for at least a month now, because to me, it's not just you've got a year where the Yankees, Judge has missed how many weeks now?
Right.
With no sign that he's coming back. Certainly he ain't coming back in the next 10 days. Okay. So to me, win the East at the Yankees' expense. You caught a big break here. The Yankees are playing through some major injuries, okay? But there's a big difference between being the 1 and the 4, okay? Go get it. Go get it. And look at the rest of the American League. Do the White Sox, outside of the Yankees, because they'll be a wild card right now, don't the White Sox have the second best record in the American League at 5 games over 500? And the White Sox are on pace to win 85 games, 86 maybe.
You're exactly right.
To be the 2 seed. This is the most mediocre this entire league has been maybe in our lifetimes. And that's why, to me, Rays and Marlins in very unique years. Go get it, boys. Go get it. But that's just me.
And look I know where David's at. I've explained my reasons why I don't disagree with him, by the way. I just don't think it's going to happen because financially it makes no sense. And if it were closer to when they get their new stadium, then I'm all in. Hell, they're going to get a new stadium. Like to see that finally get done.
Really?
Miller and Moulton. It's an off-season Thursday. That means Pat Kirwan will join us. The Fantasy Football Summit, Tuesday, August 11th. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com. Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, Miller and Moulton.com.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, you're right, but it was that's camp. We are one injury. We've had basically 2 days of camp. You know, one in Carolina, now Cincinnati, but everybody opened yesterday. But we've already got injuries. It's what happens. It's crazy. Really is.
Coffin ball. That's not what Al Golden literally was saying 2 days ago. He was saying he's a totally different player than he was last year, and his versatility is really going to help us, and he's a key player. Boom.
It's a Rolling Stone covers magazine, Jay Gunn.
See, and I have a book like that, only the R is for Rutgers.
There's a little Fleetwood Mac and Muhammad Ali.
I'm a rolling stone.
Don't ever do that again. Ever.
Why?
That was just, no.
Well, it's not like he can do a bad Dylan impression, for God's sakes.
Yeah, but I take it as making fun of Dylan, and I don't like that.
Actually, I wasn't making fun
I
of
find
him.
that offensive. Offensive. That's what I hear from my daughter all the time. Offensive.
Now, I think if you do it at karaoke, you're being offensive.
I still love, and Billy Joel was on Stern telling the story, and it's on the documentary of We Are the World, of Stevie Wonder telling Bob Dylan how to sing like Bob Dylan.
Which, of course, just makes me think of Eddie Murphy saying to Stevie Wonder, Stevie, you don't impress me. Want to impress me? Grab the wheel. Golly.
It's funny, DC. I saw about the first half of it. I dozed off, or someone came in the house, or whatever it was, because in fact, someone came home because I was watching it by myself, and then I canceled my HBO subscription, and I've not watched the rest of it. I don't know about triggered, Chris. I don't know about triggered. I don't know if that's a reach. I mean, I had no problem with the movie. It's just one of those things. I think my wife came home from work, or what I think exactly that's what it was, and I just turned it off because I'm not rotten. And when she comes in after a long day of work, tell her to shut up. I got another hour and a half of a movie to watch. I've laughed because I've been watching Yellowstone and I'm about done with it. And it's good. Not great. Although the daughter character, Beth, it might be a top 10 female character. Like it's, I loved Ozark. She's every bit as good as Ruth. I mean, it's for a female supporting actress character. She's terrific. I mean, she's awesome. You should hate her, but you love her. But I just laughed by, they had Whiskey Myers season 1. By the time they're in season, the last season here, they've got Zach Bryant. They got Lainey Wilson. I mean, it's like, okay. They all said, yeah, we'll do a song on that show. That show seems to be working. We'll show up for that. No, it's not, Kevin Baugh. They never are, it seems.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour, final Thursday of the month. Hope the month's going well for you. The week too, for that matter. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. The starting 5 in a little more than 15 days away. 30 and 41, the magic numbers. 30 and 41, 30 days away from the start of the college football season, 4 weeks from Saturday. And 6 weeks from last night, 41 days away. And so we'll go through the best number 41s in sports history coming up a little bit later on in the show. Trade deadline in 4 days away. Our fantasy football summit in 12 days. Tuesday, August 11th. Go to millerandmoulton.com and sign up. It's the only way you can register for the summit with Dr. Roto. It's our gift to you, quite frankly, the fantasy football player. Okay, we think it's unique and a great event. Just millerandmoulton.com. Sign up. You won't regret it. I promise you that.
All right. Thought you had something there. You had that look on your face, David, like you were going to give me a thought, and you stopped. Yeah. So I will jump in because I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking through I kind of go back and forth between Saturdays and Sundays this time of year. And while I'm listening to the baseball channel and following baseball and seeing trades, we haven't had a whole lot. The Angels finally got rid of a guy yesterday. We've had nothing happen really. We had one trade, and I liked the trade between the Nats and Boston. And what happens? The player who goes to Boston breaks his wrist first with the Red Sox. That sucks because that was a good trade. They both had needs. They traded young guys. The Angels giving up on a catcher is interesting because he was someone that when they thought highly of, and their other 2 catchers in their system right now are like 34 and 37. So we'll see, what the bad teams do, but the Angels have put the for sale sign up. They're ready to go. But as the Big Ten meetings started yesterday, or Tuesday rather, and go through, I think today's the last day. So they had 6 teams a day get up and do their thing and run the car wash and do the interviews. I think they've probably been more proactive, David, than the SEC was in their meetings, and rightly so, of the 2014 playoff, and the SEC didn't make that front and center. That wasn't their main talking point. And I do find it interesting because the SEC played a combination of offense and defense at their league meetings, at their media days. And what I mean by that, David, is the Big Ten's obviously won the last 3 natties. We've not, last 2, the SEC didn't even make the final game. So they got up there and still pounded their chest and Just because you win the Natty doesn't mean you're the best conference. We're still the deepest conference. There's nothing wrong with our conference. And it was a combination of offense and defense. It was a full court press, David, and they were trying to create turnovers, to use a basketball analogy. Whereas I thought the Big Ten, maybe a little more, would pound their chest and say, well, three. I mean, and just, but they've been more about the 2014 playoff.
Well, the other thing, Mark, is Tony Petitti is not the personality. And I don't know if the other schools are following Petitti. I don't know if this is intentional, but somebody just for what and giggles yesterday kept track of, after Tony Petitti gave his opening remarks, how long of the Big Four commissioners each opening remarks were. And Sankey's opening remarks were 4 times longer than Petitti's. And Petitti's opening remarks were noticeably shorter than the ACC commissioner, the SEC, and the Big 12. In fact, it was over twice as short as the Big 12 commissioner, who apparently was twice as short as the ACC and the SEC. And so I just don't know if Tony Petitti is the right personality to stick your chest out and pound it, because if Sankey had won the last 3 titles, we'd all know what was coming out of Birmingham.
And David, to your point, when the most salacious clip from the Big Ten media days comes from Brett Bielema. Wow.
I love Bielema, though.
I know you do. And I've got nothing against Brett Bielema. I'm not saying that, David. That shouldn't be the lead coaching personality in your conference. He should be just like what Illinois is, good every 3 or 4 years.
But he's a guy who has extensive experience in the SEC, and he has extensive experience, 2 different runs now in the Big Ten. And he just said, listen, the SEC's still doing it like it's 2000, what did he say, 5?
2005.
I don't know how far from the truth he is, by the way. But, 2005 was 6 months before they were ready to take over the world also. But if I were the Big Ten, though, I would keep challenging publicly, okay, if the SEC, I would just be a steady, slow drumbeat. I would just say, if you're the best conference, what do you care the size of the playoff? How could you be against bigger is better? If you keep talking about your depth is what makes you guys stand out, wouldn't you want more bites at the apple? You keep trying to make the argument your 5th, 6th, and 7th place team could win the Natty. Well, don't you want room in the playoff for your 5th, 6th, and 7th place team? I mean, that's what I would be doing. That's how I would put the SEC on the defensive, so that all of a sudden one day Paul Feinbaum turns around to Greg Sankey and goes, listen, Greg, you and I are both against it, but why? I mean, isn't what Tony Petitti saying a legitimate point? I mean, why don't you want more teams in the playoff?
No, you're absolutely right. Because I think we all believe if they go to 24, the SEC year in, year out is going to get the most teams.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like write down 6 and maybe they get 7. Like, I'm not kidding. Maybe 8.
Yeah, I think 6 would be the minimum.
No, that's what I'm saying. Write down 6. Guaranteed.
Yes.
That's 6 every year.
Yes. Yes.
Notre Dame group of 5. We're at 8. 2, that means 3 ACC. I mean, think about it. It's probably closer to, put it this way, if the over-under were 7.5, it may go over more years than under.
Okay, if you go 6-6, 4-4, that's 20. Notre Dame in group of 5, that's 22.
And 4-4, I mean,
I know. I know.
I agree with you.
But I'm just saying, if you go 6-6, 4-4, that's 20. Notre Dame group of 5, 22. Okay. And if you don't want to commit 4 to the ACC, the Big 12, and you're only willing to do 3, well, then hell, we're at 20. You got 4 spots open. Now, that's good for everybody, 4 spots open, but I mean, the SEC's got to be licking their chops.
I mean, SEC, are you that scared of Iowa?
How come you don't have a problem with your whole conference making it in softball and damn near your whole conference making it in baseball, but you want to limit how many of your football teams play in the playoffs?
Go look at your Outback Bowl record, for crying out loud.
Go look at how much money you're pumping into football. Why would you want less playoff teams?
And then the other irony is, even at Big Ten Media Days, the Jets get grief. If it wasn't bad enough that Plaxico Burress, who had been to prison, said playing for the Jets was like being in prison, they asked the Oregon quarterback, did you come back another year because you didn't want to play for the Jets? Miller and Moulton.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape. The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
It is, Kevin Baugh. I look at. I mean, you've got the Big Three and the Big Ten right now can play with anybody. Now, what's interesting is that means the next 4 in the Big Ten, though, this is where Indiana is helping the Big Ten out more than you can really put any sort of quantitative result on. That means right now, Michigan, USC, Iowa, Penn State are the top middle of the Big Ten. That's pretty good. I mean, from a brand name standpoint, that's pretty good. And that's, that means, Wisconsin sucks right now. I mean, and throw Washington in there as well, by the way. But that's with Wisconsin stinking up the joint. Sparty should be better than they are. They truly should. They've got the money. You got row the boat there that's not half bad.
Tell you what, the 2 Michigan hires are interesting, don't you think? Okay. And Utah basically threw Whittingham on his ass. And Are we sure that Pat Fitzgerald, you know, Pat Fitzgerald as a guy, the way Pat Fitzgerald had to run Northwestern, that is totally different than the college football world he now is coaching in.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I'm very curious about Pat Fitzgerald at Michigan State.
You're not going to know anything till 27.
Right.
27, because they're they lost everybody. They're going to be awful.
They're going to suck.
Texas, DC. Texas has the most money in the SEC. And this is where it bothers David and I that the Gator, this is why this has got to work with Summerall. Because the Gators have the cash. They don't have Texas money, but they're in the upper tier. Georgia's got money, and they'll always have money. Georgia has the perfect storm right now. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. The university president's on board with how football's supposed to be run. And they've got, if Kirby's not the best coach, it's Ryan Day. I mean, and I think it's Kirby. I think Kirby's the best coach in football right now on Saturday. And boy, people don't think he can coach in that conference, Kevin Baugh. I mean, the people that Moscona just ripped him apart on the show earlier this week. I mean, I said, no one's talking about Bama. He's like, why should they? I mean, that was he couldn't get that out of his mouth fast enough. Why should they?
See, if I'm Tony Petiti, you see, I'm going to town. Tony, you need to go to 24 because pretty soon Alabama's not going to be able to make the playoff. I mean, honestly, I would just.
Well, he's playing nice because he has this thing called a Super League that he wants.
Yeah, and he gets along well with Sankey. And right, he can go either way. He's like, well, listen, you and I can form a Super League, but I don't have a problem keeping it as it is. We're doing pretty well.
But they don't have a quarterback, Adam. Just for what it's worth. And you typically, does his style work in that league? That's what DeBoer's got to figure out.
How funny is that?
Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central for his weekly visit during the off season. And then I believe next week he'll be on the road somewhere.
Yeah, he leaves.
Training camp tours get underway. Fantasy Football Summit a week from Tuesday, August 11th. Go to millerandmoulton.com. Sign up for a night with Dr. Roto. He gives you his cheat sheet, 2 hours worth of food, little drink, and all the questions that you want answered about your fantasy football draft and your fantasy football team. A week from Tuesday, the 11th.
Get your hiney there. Roto's very nervous. We put this together late. Roto's very scared that our audience is not going to fill the room. So I am challenging you. How about that, huh?
What was the slogan we came up with yesterday?
Get your hiney there.
Get your hiney to have a hiney?
Right. We may even have to serve Heineken. I don't want to.
We'll put 6 of them in a bucket with some ice. That's all. The hiney bucket. That's what we'll label it. So a week from Tuesday, the 11th, go to millerandmoulton.com and sign up now. Crazy day and night of baseball. A few other things going on as well. Time now for
The starting five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting five.
Little over 4 full days left till the Monday, August 3rd trading deadline goes into effect. How about the Rays? They shut out the Rangers 3-0. They scored all their runs thanks to 2 homers, one by Diaz, one by Velade in the first. And they held off Texas from there 3-0. Their lead is now 2.5 in the East because the Yankees blew a 4-0 lead. Giving up 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. Morikawa with the homer to tie it. And then the White Sox scored 2 in the 12th to beat the Yankees 6-5. So the Yankees now 2.5 behind the Rays, 3 in the loss column. White Sox rally allows them to stay a full game and a half up on Cleveland. The Guardians took care of the Reds 6-1. Red Sox, they got a 2-run homer from, I should be able to read my writing, Mark. Okay. Moriaster. Oh, no, Monasterio. Boy, that was, wow. I need new specs. Monasterio with a 2-run homer in the 10th. Boston beat the A's 4-2 in 10. Meanwhile, the Twins, they drop a game under 500 and a game further back in the standings. They're now a game and a half out of the playoffs. They lost to Kansas City 4-0. How about the Randy Dobnik story? He pitched for the Royals. He had not won a game in the majors in 5 years and throws 7 shutout innings. Buxton back on the IL. Just saying. I mean, between Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton, they just cannot keep those guys for a full season. When they can keep them in the lineup, they win games. Astros, Mark, they were out of it. They were double-digit games below 500. They had injuries everywhere. They were like including Yordan Alvarez. And then when he came back, it's like they're Yordan Alvarez and a prayer. Well, they're a game back at Texas in the West. They beat the Angels 7-4 after sweeping them. And yes, fire sale time in Los Angeles. Can the interim GM convince Trout to accept the trade? My guess is not at the deadline, but maybe he'll be able to do it during the offseason. Dodgers got a homer and 2 RBIs from Page and beat Seattle 4-2. Mariners are fading in the West. They're like 4 games below 500.
Yes.
Unreal.
And that was the first of 3 with the first of 4 with the Dodgers or 3 with the Dodgers. But regardless, that, you know, I mean, after getting swept, here's your reward. Go to LA and play the Dodgers.
So the Phillies led the Marlins 6-0, only to have the Marlins come all the way back and eventually Conine with the pinch hit 2-run homer to win it. Miami 8-6, they sweep the Phillies. And yeah, oh, by the way, remember Bryce Harper after Tuesday night's loss when he publicly said, we need help? Yeah. Well, before Wednesday's game, afternoon game, manager Don Mattingly said, Bryce needs to worry about playing first base and just let Dave Dombrowski be the general manager. Okay. We wondered when we saw the quote. We wondered how that was going to be received. We didn't think well. Okay. Mattingly probably on orders, sticking up for Dombrowski. We'll see where the Phillies go from here. They're tied for the final playoff spot in the National League. Phillies and Diamondbacks both sneak into the playoffs as it stands right now. Braves split a doubleheader with the Mets, lost the first game 3-2, won the nightcap 1-0. We talked about it earlier. Tigers had a 7-0 lead in the 7th with Skubal on the mound and lost. Baltimore rallied to beat them in 12, 10-9. Orioles 2.5 games out of a playoff spot. Tigers are 4.5. Detroit is not only 4.5 out of the playoffs, they would have to pass, I believe, 4 teams or 5. Baltimore, Minnesota, Houston, and then the Guardians. So they'd have to pass 4 teams and make up 4.5 games. If you're their GM, are you buying or are you selling?
Well, I've been selling for a month.
I know you have. Milwaukee got bombed in San Francisco 16-3. How about this? They not only gave up 3 3-run innings, they gave up a 7-run inning on top of it. We've only been trying to trade Arise for 3 weeks. And since that time, Mark, he's been red hot. He had 4 hits yesterday. I mean, how much longer, if you're a team that wants him, are you going to let him keep tearing it up in San Francisco? Hello, Rays. Hello. Bring him on your team tonight. What are you waiting for? Arise,
got that right.
Arise hitting .331 with an over 800 OPS. Cardinals beat the Cubs 3-2-10. Cubs stay 6 back of the Brewers. Cardinals are 500. You know, the Cardinals are interesting because they're half the distance out of the playoffs that the Tigers are. They're only 2.5 out, but they would literally have to leapfrog 5 teams.
Yeah, but with what they're out, I mean, they're all right there. It's amazing. You know, basically, if you're over 500, you're in the playoffs in the American League. But if you're 500 in the National League, I think you're 3 back. I mean, it's nothing special on that side, if you know what I mean.
No, I know. The Cardinals are 500, and they're 2.5 out of the playoffs. The Pirates, the Nats, and the Marlins are all a game above 500, I believe, and they're 2 back.
Right, and the Padres are 2 games above 500. They're a game and a half.
Right.
Now, you got to hope the Diamondbacks start slipping because they're the team I think you can catch. I don't think Philly's going to keep diving the way they are.
Although right now, Philly slide and Arizona's Renaissance, the 2 teams are tied right now. One would be the 5, one would be the 6 for the final playoff spot. Arizona beat Pittsburgh again, 3-0 the final. Edwin Rodriguez went 8 shutout innings for Arizona. Padres beat the Rockies 3-1. Toronto 5-2 over the Nats, thanks to 3 in the 8th, and they won the series with that win. NFL now, injuries. So there's concern in San Francisco, not for the head coach, for the injuries that he suffered in his car accident. He's in concussion protocol, all right? He's not overseeing the team full time, at least not on site. But first-round pick from a couple years ago, Ricky Pearsall from the Gators, the wide receiver, who's had nothing but bad injury luck and was also involved in that shooting. Wrong place, wrong time. Yeah, he missed most of last season with a sore right knee. Yeah, same knee, same spot, sore once again, and they're swelling. So there's concern about wide receiver Ricky Pearsall in San Francisco. Bengals lost defensive lineman Shamar Stewart, but we don't know for how long. But we do know that he was literally carted off the field with a full leg brace, with a left leg and a left knee injury. Did not return, and they did not say anything about the extent of his injuries. And this happened in the morning yesterday. That's not a good sign, but then again, the Bengals never release any information. Carolina did release information. Rookie draft pick Chris Brazell, wide receiver out of Tennessee. Yeah, he torn his LCL. They say he's out 8 weeks with the leg injury. Okay, that would mean he'd miss 2 to 3 games of the regular season since we're 6 weeks away from week 1 of the NFL. Josh Allen. Man, I don't like making fun of Josh Allen because I think he's a hell of a quarterback. And it's remarkable to me that both he and Lamar have not even made a Super Bowl yet. That's how much damage that number 15 in Kansas City has done to a lot of guys' lives out there. But Josh Allen needs to suck it up. Okay. The word is the team asked Josh Allen, can you come out and make a statement about our new Nickel City uniforms?
Would have been great if he'd have come up on stage and said, I'm with all of you. I think they suck too.
Right. Okay. But instead, he's whining, hey, stop all the hating. Okay. We've got to stop the hating and support. No, the uniforms are ugly. They suck. Sorry. Fans don't like them. Nobody likes them. And you sound whiny. Stop it. By the way, Taysom Hill not returning to the Saints. He has not yet officially retired. I'll be curious if Sean Payton picks him up in Denver. Taysom's played 9 years with the Saints. The NBA says now this Kawhi probe with the Clippers, yeah, this could go into 2027.
How?
Well, because obviously there's a lot there. I mean, if there's nothing there, this thing was over last week.
Yeah, but how does it take this long? I'm sorry.
Well, because they didn't investigate it at all, and they're starting from scratch.
Call Pablo Torre.
Yeah, he's got all the info.
He did all the work for you. It's like Charles Robinson with Yahoo, for crying out loud.
He won a Pulitzer, for God's sakes. Call him up. Boy, they're starting to get some people paid in the NHL, Mark. The guy from the Ducks who got that offer from the Flyers, so the Flyers matched it, and now the kid in Anaheim's making $18 a year. Well, San Jose said, well, we can't have the kid a half an hour away. Oh, it's more than that. But we can't have the kid a few hours away making more than our 20-year-old superstar, Macklin Celebrini. So they called him up and said, yeah, how about 5 years, $94 million extension on top of your rookie deal? He said, yeah, I'll take it. So the kid's going to make eventually nearly $19 million a year, highest paid player in the league when the extension kicks in. And when the contract's up, he'll only be 26.
Boy, is McDavid going to get paid in a couple of years.
Oh, my goodness. This Celebrini kid, 19 years old last year, had 45 goals and 115 points. He's worth the money. The kid in Anaheim, not so much. This kid, worth the money.
Celebrini, when he comes to Florida and takes on the Lightning and Panthers, you should go.
Yep.
Like, you know, particularly the Panthers, because you'll be able to get a ticket to that one.
Two things quickly. All signs point to U.S. Soccer bringing back the men's coach, Mauricio Pochettino. All signs indicate he is re-signing with them. And the New York Post's Mark Cannizzaro reported exclusively yesterday that LIV has found 250 to 300 million in investment money, and they're going to cancel their tour championship. Okay, but then in September, they're going to announce that they're coming back and in what form. And it's 7 minutes before the hour mark. That was starting five big stories you need to know here on Miller and Moulton.
We'll have a poll question on the other side. I've got a couple of ideas. We'll get to the best 41s of all time next hour. And I love when good players on bad teams talk smack. And that happened yesterday. We'll have it for you on the other side. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, Miller and Moulton. Moulton.com. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Buying or selling a home? Put a local expert to work for you. I'm Mark Miller with McWilliams Buckley, and I believe real estate is about more than transactions. It's about helping people make the right move, from pricing your home to negotiating the best deal. I'll be with you every step of the way. Call or text me today, 239-425-5582. That's 239-425-5582. Experience, local knowledge, and a personal difference. That's what I'll bring to the table.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Guilt works. I'm just telling you. So Tuesday and Thursday, the daughter's got soccer practice. And she still makes herself breakfast. But for whatever reason, on Tuesday, I was on the pay no mind list. And I think I guilted her most of the day Tuesday into saying, why didn't you make me breakfast? Well, I get up early, Dad. So you crack 2 more eggs? What? I mean, you're making. Did you make breakfast for your mother? She said, yeah. I go, so instead of making 2 eggs, you can't make 4? You can't put another piece of toast down in the. So she walked up with breakfast this morning. Catholic guilt's the worst, Javier. And she's learning young. Fantastic.
Can somebody help me out and explain to me the whole Siwoo Kim story? How did he get? So he goes into Toronto to gamble, but didn't have a passport, and they're trying to figure out how he got in. What's that story? Hey, Paul, I thought you'd be all over it.
She was. I thought it was Windsor, not Toronto, but I could be wrong.
Sorry.
Because that's right. I mean,
right, the border there.
And it's been a while because obviously things have changed post 9/11. But David, forever, you needed nothing to get across the border. Nothing. The Canada-U.S. border in Windsor was, hi, where'd you go? Went and had lunch. Okay. I mean, I remember going to Tigers games, crossing the border, getting a 2-4, because, see, we called a case of beer in the States. It's a 2-4 in Canada. And coming back with beer because they had stronger beer. And then, of course, drinking most of them while we drove home. But that's
Right.
So, but what Paula was saying is that, to at least you can't get out of, and I guess he took the tunnel. I don't know if he took tunnel the bridge, but when you can't, pull a U-turn and go back. Well, yeah, right. Once you're in line, you can't get out of line.
Yeah, I will say Kansas City barbecue is not overrated. It's outstanding. I just don't know how many places are outstanding in Kansas City. I found like 3. Which is still pretty good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this final Thursday of July. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Pat Kirwan to talk all things NFL on this 41st day away from the start of the NFL season. He will join us coming up 1 hour from now. Now, you said before the break there was a couple of things that you wanted to get to.
Well, I mean, I got a couple ideas for a poll question. What I said was I like it when someone from a bad team talks smack. I enjoy that.
Okay.
And that's what happened yesterday. Devon Achane there, the great running back from the Dolphins. And he is. He's a terrific running back. He is not liking the fact that no one thinks the Dolphins are going to be any good.
Oh, boy.
And he said basically that they're kind of used to people kicking the Dolphins when they're down. He said, we don't pay no mind to that. If teams feel that way about us, that means when they play us, they're not going to be taking us seriously. And if you're going to do that, then you're going to have a long day for yourself.
Yeah, because we're the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, we're not very good across the board.
Not very good. We suck. Okay? I am sick and tired of you trying to half full the glass with this team.
Whoa.
I mean, David, put it this way. You going over or under the, 4.5 wins? Where are you going?
Probably under.
Yeah. They suck. Now.
Probably under. If they don't beat the Raiders week 1, that's a key over-under game right there.
Now, what David and I both do like, though, is that the new regime has admitted what we have always said. It doesn't matter the sport. When you're bad, admit it and tear the sucker down. And Miami has torn this down. What, they signed the 2 linemen that they like in Achane. They got them on long-term contracts. Those are the 3 guys. We need these. We're starting here. They took a chance, a flyer, if you will, on a quarterback for a 2-year deal. Didn't really spend a lot of money. People were upset on getting Malik Willis. Shouldn't be. I've got no problem with it. It's 2 years. And if they stink and they're at a top pick, they can still draft a quarterback.
Heck,
But
they
they do
could
have the
still win.
longest odds to make the playoffs in the league, by the way. They're the
Think
least
about
likely team.
Think about that. More than Arizona, more than the Jets. That's how little the Dolphins are thought of this year.
So I do think it's kind of comical, though, and I think it's accurate in this regard. No matter how much coaches yell at you about every team's good, players know what's what.
Yeah.
But it's the NFL. It's not Saturday, where all of a sudden you take Vandy lightly and it's a game at halftime. And I'm using Vandy in the past tense, not in the last couple of years.
This is where you just want to pull them aside and you want to say, listen, you got paid. Just keep it to yourself. Okay? Talk means nothing. Come on. You really think you're as good as the Bills and the Patriots right now in this division? Hell, best of 3 with the Jets. Who you taking?
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
They should play 3 this year just for that, for bragging rights.
Just so that one of those teams could reach the over.
Funny, too, David. The other thing that's, and look, there's a bunch of guys all over the league looking for new deals that are opting out of participating in the early part of camp. But I do find it, I guess, interesting in this regard, David, is that the running back was kicked to the curb just a couple of years ago. And they're never going to get receiver money, and they're certainly not going to get quarterback money. I get it. Hell, they're not even going to get edge rush. They're never going to get edge rusher money. They're not. However, a couple guys have gotten paid, Achane being one of them. And Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs are like, yeah, we want new deals. And I think they'll get them. Now, again, it's where they're slotted in the whole grand scheme of things. But the running back's making a bit of a comeback, if you know what I mean, David.
Very much so. Saquon started it, and there are others that have at least gotten 12 plus million. You know, what was it? Jacobs in Green Bay, leaving the Raiders, and then Cook got 12 and change. Achane, I think. By the way, I still think the Dolphins got the better of that deal. That's a short-term deal if you look at it closely. I think it's only like 2 years of the, full salary guaranteed money. I think the Dolphins GM has done a really good job this offseason. He's held firm financially. He signed 3 guys who were on the roster that he inherited that he liked. Okay, and he said, we're keeping you. You're young enough. You're definitely good enough. We're going to get you paid. All right. We're taking a flyer on Malik Willis, yet we'll still be in financial position. We could go get Baker Mayfield next year. We might be in draft position to draft the number 1 player in college football. So I actually like what the new guy has done so far. And he also said, by the way, we're hitting in practice. Without saying we're soft, he's like, listen, I came from elsewhere. You know what the word on the Dolphins is? They're soft. We're going to hit in practice. Now, big news in Pittsburgh, Mark, because Mike McCarthy is not hitting in practice. And they're freaking out a little bit because that's their thing.
Yeah, the Steelers. Yeah, right.
Right. And Mike McCarthy's like, I get it. I was born and raised here. I'm a Yinzer. I know, and Tomlin and Cowher and Knoll. I get it, but I don't know what to tell you. I think without saying it out loud, Mike McCarthy's saying, I got a 40-something-year-old quarterback and the oldest defense in the league. We're not hitting in August.
Yeah, how's it going to make Water Hayward any better, if you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I think they
and
know how to play football.
But our offensive line was all banged up last year. That was supposed to be better. So, but I can see where people up there would freak out. They've been doing it the same way for 100 years, basically.
Which is funny, though, because they want to win more, and yet they know they have to make changes to win more, but they're not willing to accept some of the changes. Imagine that.
By the way, just quickly with the Steelers, because you are a guy who values a backup quarterback more than really anyone I know, and I don't mean that disparagingly, David. You've been on this for a while. They have 4. They've got the rookie there from Ohio, or the second-year guy from Ohio State, Howard.
Right, Will Howard.
They drafted the kid from Penn State there.
Drew Aller.
And they've got Mason Rudolph.
Right.
One of them's not going to make the team. Now, Mason Rudolph was listed as the 2. If they still believe in Howard at all, do you trade Mason Rudolph? Because I think you could get something for him.
Oh, I would definitely think you could get something for him.
Would you trade him, though? That's my question to you.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't. See, my thing is, by the way, both Howard and Aller are projects. Remember, they're trying to win. They think they can win. And quite frankly, in that division this year, they can win that division this year. I mean, they won it last year. Why can't they win it again this year? And obviously, they're all in on this year. Their quarterback's 104 years old.
Right. But
so,
David, if he, well, I understand what you're saying. You want the 2-1 if he misses 3 games. But how long is Howard a project for? I guess that's my question.
Well, I don't know.
Because someone's going to be able to pick one of these guys up.
Okay, but the one guy was drafted in what? The 5th round, and the other guy in the 6th? You know, and I have to assume that one of them's not Tom Brady. I'm sorry. They're young, athletic, project quarterbacks. And McCarthy had nothing to do with Howard.
Right.
He may have had something to do, threw his 2 cents in about Drew Aller, but he had nothing to do with Will Howard. So to me, no, I'm in it to win this year. They think they can win this year. So, no, then I have to put the best team forward for this year. Mason Rudolph has won games in December and early January to get the Steelers to the playoffs.
Harder division to predict. AFC North, NFC South.
I would say North only because I don't think you could take the South. I'm sorry. The South is harder because I think you have to take all 4 teams seriously, where I don't think you have to do that in the AFC North.
Right. It's a 3-team race in the Browns.
Correct.
That's why all right, AFC North, AFC South. Because they're similar divisions, right? I mean, you've got Cleveland and you've got Tennessee.
Yeah, in that respect. Boy, could you tell me right now, it's all my money. How many games are the Colts going to win?
Without looking at the schedule, I mean,
what team are they, Mark? We've talked about this. Are they the 8-2 team before Daniel Jones got hurt, who was literally the 1 seed in the AFC? Or are they some semblance of the 0-7 team who finished the year with no quarterback?
David, here's the other thing. Look, I know he's going to make it I think he'll be there for the first game. But they decided that Pierce was their guy at wideout. He had the ankle surgery. He's starting on the PUP list. What's his best attribute? Speed, getting downfield. And you're nursing an ankle to start the season? It's just the little things to me, David. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're right around a 500 team. The best case scenario, it's 10. Worst case scenario, it's 7.
Well, if that's the case, then, because a lot of people think Jacksonville's coming back to the pack this year. To me, that means Houston's going to win that division in a blowout.
That's saying C.J. Stroud can play the quarterback position at a respectable level. Doesn't need to be we all know this defense isn't good. This defense is elite. If the quarterback can play at any kind of a level, they could be really good.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m.
Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, MillerandMoulton.com.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, Happy Joy, because I mean, you're a soccer expert now. Who do we get? Since you don't like this guy, who do we go out and get? Sonny, you're not far off on that. And Adam, you're high. He's maybe the best coach we've ever had, Javier. I'm fine with him. It's not his fault that Pulisic's soft and sucks. And he's got skill, but he's soft as baby do. No, but you don't want the coach paid. You want him fired. Who are you replacing him with? That's all I'm saying. This is the easy thing we do in this world. He sucks. Get rid of him. Fire him. I don't like him. Who are you going to replace him with? It doesn't even matter the sport of the team anymore. Like, what's Jason Light thinking? They're apparently going to move on from Baker Mayfield. With whom? Well, that's great that you'll do it for $500K, Happy, but let's just be honest. I don't know how much you know about sports, let alone coaching a soccer team, okay? That's really easy. So you've got no one. That's what you're telling us. I mean, you attack Paula and tell her how wrong she is, and you've got no solution. That's what people do about everything all the damn time. And he put a system in that made us better. He did something that other coaches had not done with our players.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this final Thursday of July. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton. On X, at Kirwan to join us in about 40 minutes' time. So the magic numbers today, 30 days away from the beginning of the college football season, 4 weeks Saturday. 41, 6 weeks last night, the start of the NFL season. 41 days away.
Before we get to the 41s, David, a couple of quick questions for you. Way off the beaten path. But you, in my opinion, very rightly said lasagna underrated because it was National Lasagna Day.
Right.
Yesterday. Today, there are two food days very apart from one another. National Cheesecake Day. Cheesecake, overrated, underrated?
Not a huge fan, surprisingly. So
I think it's overrated.
But
do we really need a factory? I mean, is there a clamoring out there for cheesecake so much that we need a factory for it? And a lot of people wait in line for the factory. I drive past it every once in a while when I go to places that I eat. But a factory? I mean...
And I've eaten at the factory before. So, if I were to lean, if I had to choose, I would lean overrated, but that's a personal thing.
I like a cheesecake. It isn't in my top list of things I want for dessert. And I don't think it needs a factory. That's all. But it's also National Chili Dog Day. And as a proud Michigander, I know Coney Island's in New York, and I get a lot of heat for this. I think in Michigan, we do the Coney dog, and we call it a Coney dog. We don't call it a chili dog. So I'm kind of combining the two. But I think that I think the Coney dog is one of the greatest things on the planet. I really do. It's, when you said if you were getting executed, you'd go the number 3 supersize with a double cheeseburger. I might go 3 Coneys. I mean, really and truly, ribeye or 3 Coneys, I would be torn.
I will say, I do think that Michigan does the Coney, the chili dog better. I do. In amongst my travels, devouring dogs, I think where I grew up is in the top 3, but I love the way that Michigan does it.
So I'm getting one today. There's a Detroit Coney dog place about 4 miles from my house. And my wife and daughter are being wonderful citizens today and volunteering their time at a food pantry. while they're going to do that, I'm going to go feed my fat ass some hot dogs. Oh, God, that just sounds horrible when you say it out loud.
Well, they're doing the work for you, so you don't have to.
Oh, my goodness. Does that just sound terrible?
Boy, I don't know. Can I shake the wife? Get me a chili dog today.
Do you even know where to get one near you? I mean, it's not. I mean, Jacksonville. There's not like there's a varsity around there. There probably, there probably should be. If the varsity were to go to a third location, Athens, Atlanta. I mean, wouldn't Jacksonville, because of the cocktail party, be the next best place for a varsity?
Yeah.
One of those frozen orange. Oh, it's just that's a solid drink.
So, all right. So chili dogs and cheesesteak. Cheesecake. I'm sorry. That's what we got going on today.
So yeah, that's your food choices. I got to get a poll question up. I got a couple in my head. We got to work it out next break. But 41 is the number, and I'm going through the guys that have played hockey. I'm not seeing a 41 that really stands out for me at all, for that matter. I mean, there's guys that wore it a lot, but they're not what I would call elite players.
Okay. Thought there was a goalie who was 41 who had a run.
That's probably the best thing I'm seeing. Jocelyn, is it Thibault?
Yeah.
Yeah, he played for a lot of I mean, he played for the Quebec Nordiques. If you wore the Nordique uni, I hold a special place for you in my heart, because I loved that uni, one of my favorite of all times. But that's really, I mean.
Well, I think in some of the other sports, though, there's quite a few 41s. I mean, obviously in baseball, you've got Seaver.
Right. You've got Seaver. And I mean, there's a couple of good, I wouldn't even call them great. There's a couple of good 41s.
Mm-hmm. In hoop, I think you got two that are all-time players. You've got Dirk.
That's probably your best I mean, that could go down as the best 41 period.
And I do think that people would pick him over. Wasn't Wes Unseld 41?
There you go. Wes Unseld with the Washington Bullets, everybody. The Bullets.
Yep. Won an NBA title, Wes Unseld.
Oh, yeah. Beat the Sonics, right?
Yes, in Game 7 in Seattle in 78. Yep. With Elvin Hayes and Bobby Dandridge. Oh, yeah, Kevin Greavy. Won the title. Sonics got revenge the next year, won the championship in 5 at Washington's expense.
By the way, old school in baseball, Eddie Matthews wore 41. I mean, but that's
right.
I'm not asking people to remember that. I am just merely pointing that out to you. Football, by the way, Glenn Rice, another 41 in the NBA.
Yeah.
Not Dirk. I think Dirk's your best. I think, Seaver's next, and then maybe Unseld. I think those are your top 3, period.
Ooh, wow. That's a fascinating question. Who's the best 41 of all time? Because Dirk went in, and I think at the time he retired, wasn't he like 6th all time on the scoring list? But he won the Mavs a title. And that was big, getting him on those all-time lists.
But football-wise, the list I have in front of me, David, that's a lot of, to me, good, not a lot of great. Not being mean here. But Eugene Robinson, Charlie Waters from the Cowboys.
Eugene Robinson. Oh, my goodness. Should be remembered more dubiously in Super Bowl history, because he was the Falcon safety when they made their first Super Bowl against the Broncos, and he wins the Bart Starr Award the night before and then goes out and gets arrested for hooking up with a hooker.
Right. So, you've got Kamara.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty solid. But I thought, Charlie Waters, like I said, Cowboys. And then for you, David, from the Raiders, Filippiano.
Oh yeah, the linebacker with the Raiders.
Yeah, that's one I thought you might pull, but that's kind of the list. And remember, I don't do this off the top of my head. I'm not hiding or sugarcoating anything from anyone. It's literally the first thing I do when the show ends. I go to the next day and I get them up in front of me and take a quick glance to make sure I'm not missing anybody.
I love when Villapiano tells the story about we finally win the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 11, we beat the Vikings, and we get our Super Bowl rings, and Villapiano says, this is how much we were rivals with the Steelers. Everybody who's ever won the Super Bowl, if there's a score engraved in the ring, it's the score of the Super Bowl. Al Davis got us our rings, and the score inside the ring was 24-7 because that was the score beating the Steelers in the AFC Championship game.
Miller and Moulton, you're 41. Someone picking a vote for Keith Byers.
Yeah,
It's a solid player.
No doubt.
Solid player. But 41 days away from the start of the National Football League season. Hell, we're just a few days away. 2 weeks ago from Tuesday, the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit. Sign up now.
Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So my initial poll question, it can come down quickly. Between now and the start of football season, what are you most interested in? Baseball, training camp, spending time with family. I want to see how big training camp wins. NFL training camp. I will change it to that. Yes, Brian Piccolo was number 41, Sonny. You were right.
Right. I mean, there's hundreds of 41s, but
So that's one idea for a poll question.
Fulton Walker of the Dolphins, who I think returned to kick for a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But I like it. Like that question.
All right. You're fine with that? All right.
Yep. Whew. Huh. Oh, we're on 41. But that's funny.
Okay. I think they're very good, Michael, but there's nothing that you're wrong about, dude. I don't know where you get a better Coney down here.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till Pat Kirwan will join us at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Go to millerandmoulton.com and sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit. It's in 12 days. It's Tuesday, the 11th. Dr. Roto, you, dinner, little food, little drink, and a lot of fantasy talk for about 2 hours worth. He gives you his cheat sheet. You come with your questions. You write down the answers. You take them with you. You do your fantasy draft, and then you keep all that stuff with you throughout the season so you continuously make the right choices, and you'll do well. He's got a proven track record, and the people who come have a proven track record. So sign up, millerandmoulton.com, and we'd love to see you. Space Unlimited. Love to see you Tuesday night, the 11th.
So we put a poll question up. I had a couple of things. They were food related. I'm actually going to go sports with a little bit of snark. Between now and the start of football season, what are you most interested in? Baseball, NFL training camp, or spending time with family?
That last one's hysterical. That's great.
And down here, even more so in Florida, because we're starting school for those of us with, families that are still under one roof, if you will. We are a couple of weeks away from school start.
Right.
So family time could well be over. You've moved on from family.
Well, don't you equate spending time with family along with when people are let go and they include the line that we wish them well in their future endeavors? So-and-so left. Why? He wanted to spend time, or she wanted to spend more time with family. I kind of always equated that with the employer that said, so-and-so was great for X number of years, and we just wish him and his family, okay, all the best in their future endeavors. Really? You just took their salary and health care away from them, okay? I mean, what more can you do for them, if you know what I mean?
Well, I'm getting, to the point where I like spending time with my family. One of them is not so fond of spending time with us anymore. She's about to be a teenager.
Yep.
She's a year away. She already thinks she is. So the idea of
Right.
doing something with mom and dad as opposed to doing something with friends, well, we know where we stand.
Right. That's preposterous. Okay. You guys really think this was a good idea? How did you get those jobs? Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up another subject, David. Because you like this league. You do. And I'm not knocking you for it. You have paid more attention to this league in, 1 year than I have in my entire life. And that's the WNBA.
Uh-huh.
David, I'm asking you a serious question. I'm not doing this to knock that league, although it's going to come off that way. Can you find me another sports league that seems to screw up from the top more than this league has, really, in the last, in the Caitlin Clark era, if you will? I mean, they seem to get nothing right. And if they got a couple of things right, they wouldn't get the grief they get from people who just want to take shots at them because it's the WNBA. Whether it's the commissioner, whether, Sophie Cunningham, who's a popular player, good-looking woman, plays on the team with Caitlin Clark. She came out and said girls should play girls' sports. I think the majority of us believe that. And so a couple of fans at a Seattle game brought signs basically thanking her for her support. The owner of the Storm came out and started swearing at them. And I know that's not the commissioner, but it's on top, the owners and commissioners. This league can't get out of its own damn way.
I was going to answer at first in a rather snarky way. Well, Mark, outside of the NCAA.
Right.
No. But no,
they
Mark.
don't run their league.
No, I mean, I will say there are a few inherent biases going against the WNBA, and the people in those groups with the biases will not admit them. Okay. There are a lot of people that, first off, they haven't watched professional women's basketball, if ever, in a very long time. Listen, until about 5 years ago, the product was not that good. As somebody who's broadcasted hundreds, maybe even thousands of women's college basketball games and is a big supporter of women's sports, the product was not good. The product in the last 5 years, I'm sorry, the product's fine. Yeah, okay. A few players miss an occasional layup and you go, they should be able to make that. Yeah, okay. But I mean, Indiana played a game the other night, 40 minutes. They go by the college timing system. 105-95. How bad can that game be? Seriously. They got a quick shot clock, and they go up and down the floor. They push it, they press it, they run it. How unentertaining can that game be if it's 105-95 in 40 minutes of basketball? You tell me. Okay, the product's much better than it's given credit for. It just is. People just don't want to give it a try. And that's, hey, they're never going to get those of you who just don't like women's sports. Okay, they'll have to plow through that. But then those are the people in many cases in the national media that are making whichever side they're going to jump on the things going on in this league. No offense. It's like what Mark said to me midway through the World Cup. Hey, now, don't cross that line to become that guy who ignores this sport for 3 years and 11 months and now wants to come in and change the offside rule. Come on, you can't do that. Just enjoy it for what it is and go away. And I was like, you're right. That's fair. So there is that bias that I think is out there.
There's
that
no
won't
doubt
get
that there's a
acknowledged.
bias. David, there's totally a bias. And I think we all know what it is. We don't have to say the words. We know what the
Right.
biases are.
Right, but they have major issues that they need to go behind closed doors and talk out. Okay? They do. They have a gay straight issue, they have a black white issue, okay? And sometimes they have other issues and they're all on the same team. I did find it interesting how when Caitlin was with her brethren, if you will, other really good players, boy, she was treated differently by those players than the rank and file, if you will. Okay. Also, the leadership of the league is horrendous. It's almost always been horrendous. Can you imagine David Stern allowing the rank and file to go out of their way to physically beat up Bird, Magic, and Michael? Seriously? It's a joke. What are you doing?
Well, I will say they used to beat up Jordan as much as they could. That was the way you play defense. Different league, but I understand your point completely. This is where I don't get it. The commissioner at the All-Star game doesn't address officiating at all.
Right.
Officiating's a problem in that league. It's a big problem.
Yes, it is.
But yet, social media attacks is what the commissioner is going to focus on. I understand why you have to mention it, but I don't know any commissioner of any sport, and certainly not the commissioner of the WNBA, that's going to be able to get people who are rotten to stop being rotten.
Oh, can't do it in society. I don't know how we can do it in the WNBA.
Right. So I just, again, my major question, and I thought you'd say the NCAA. I did. FIFA. But you don't want to be compared to those things.
No, I know.
The IOC. This is where you don't want your league compared to.
I'll say this for those that are picking on me because I mentioned Jordan and not getting beat up. I believe that the players are going out of their way with Caitlin. Okay. They're not playing, like I pointed out, the WNBA has a lot of flow to it. It's got tempo. Look at their scores. Okay. And to me, I felt, yes, Jordan, of course, teams were physical with him. They couldn't stop him. Okay. But I thought they were doing it somewhat within the realm of how the game was played. Yes, the Pistons knocked them to the floor often in the playoffs with the Jordan rules and what have you. But Michael was still scoring 30 plus a night. I didn't feel like the players in the NBA were literally trying to take Magic, Michael, and Larry out of the league. There are nights in which I think to myself, they literally want to take her out of the game. They're not just being physical with her. They want to take her off the court. Okay.
I would counter with the only thing I would say about your comments with the NBA. Maybe, David, they weren't trying to take Magic, Larry, and Michael out of the game. They were trying to take everybody out of the game. They weren't treated differently. I just think's a better way to say it, because when you watch, when you went through the middle in those days, I don't give a damn who you were. You were paying the price for going to the hoop. Right. And I think your point's correct. I just think I'm trying to massage it for you a little bit, if you know what I mean. They weren't treated differently because everybody got it. You went to the hole, you had to pay the price, and it didn't matter who you were.
But that to me, and yes, the leadership problem, they need somebody. Listen, David Stern, okay, who I disagreed with on many things. But David Stern, when he got the job, he said, we have a drug problem. They did. They did. White America and corporate America was not investing in the NBA because they thought, in terms of style of play, nobody played any defense. And then in terms of the guys in the league, well, a lot of black thugs doing drugs. And Stern addressed it right away. And that's what you've got to do. The WNBA commissioner has got to take these players behind closed doors and go, I don't know what the truth is, but I could tell you what the people out there think the truth is. And that's who we're playing for. And they think it's this, and this.
And David, here's the most important part of that. Whether people want to hear this or not, and some people are going to like what I have to say and others are not. You're trying to get advertisers, just like we are. At the end of the day, you need to make money.
Yep.
And what has seemingly been the case over the past 3 years is that if you run to the woke side with your corporate advertising, it doesn't work. Whether it's Cracker Barrel changing their logo, whether it was Bud Light. I mean, when you try to make these extreme moves from an advertising standpoint, it doesn't work. And Caitlin Clark, by the way, do you know what she appeals to? Advertisers. All of your highest rated games have who in it? Caitlin Clark. Maybe learn something from that. That's all.
So, yeah, you want to bring up a favorite subject of mine. I think it's correctable with one right person and a meeting. I really do. I think diving could go away in soccer. You name the issue. I'm telling you.
You beat me to it because that one I actually agree with you on. That should be fixed. I mean, put it this way. Hockey, they were starting to dive in hockey. What happened? We started calling diving penalties. Does it still happen? Yeah, but not as much. Not like the NBA.
So that's my 2 cents.
Miller and Moulton, we've got a poll question up between now and the start of football season. What are you most interested in? Baseball, spending time with family, or NFL training camp? Pat Kirwan, about to see a lot of NFL training camps. I believe on Sunday he starts his journey around NFL training camp. We'll talk to Pat about the Steelers not hitting, about already a couple of injuries in camp, what moves can still be made. I mentioned all the quarterbacks in Pittsburgh. Will something happen there? David put me in my place on that one, rightly so. So we'll get into a little training camp talk with Pat coming up on the other side. A reminder, the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit, Tuesday, August 11th. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com. Dr. Roto on hand for you. Not only do you get the cheat sheet, but you get insights on not just how to plan your draft, but how to strategize for your entire season. It's as good of a product as we give you, really and truly. Tuesday, August 11th, millerandmoulton.com to sign up. Hope to see you there at the Doubletree Hotel where Shoeless Joe's is in Fort Myers and the Bell Tower shops. Pat Kirwan to talk NFL training camp next. Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, millerandmoulton.com.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Pat.
Good morning, fellas.
How are you?
I gotta rescue you from basketball conversations.
Oh yeah, well, you know what? You gotta get a few things in.
I know.
Just try. This is called doing segments until football starts, Pat.
Yes, and your question about what would be more interesting? I'm telling you, football camps will trump baseball games all the time.
Oh, I think I'm surprised right now. Baseball's winning. I'm stunned.
Yeah, well, they're well rested from watching nothing, so it's time to call you.
Yep. Well, I put it this way. I think spending time with family will beat baseball when it's all said.
Yep. So I heard you talking about, and I said this to David the other day too. The reason the league can tell you there's no bigger rash of injuries, knee and ankle on turf than there is on grass, is because they collect all the preseason ones, and everybody's getting hurt right now on grass, and that's piling up the data they need to say there's no real difference. That's the problem. You have 32 teams working out on grass, and guys are going down with ACLs and Achilles. And we're not even up to pads. And by the time we get to the end of the preseason, we're going to have, I don't know, let's say 30 guys with ACLs / Achilles. And that kind of makes the numbers look like the grass is as dangerous. I don't believe that, but that's why they can say it, because everyone's whacking around on grass and getting hurt. And we're already piling them up here.
Pat, I know there are injuries every year, and I don't know if there are more now than, in the glory days when guys weren't in shape. Are they forced to go harder now earlier than they used to? Do you have any reason as to why? Are these just freak injuries? Are guys, too jacked, if you know what I mean? Are they working out too much? Do you have any theories as to why guys are blowing out, whether it's a knee, an Achilles, in the first week of practice, if you know what I mean?
Well,
Someone says working in the heat, and it's like they've always worked in the heat.
yeah. A lot of guys train all year round, and there are people that don't think you should. Back in those old days when you knew you were going to get in shape in camp because you were going to be in there for 7 weeks or something.
Right, and it was 3-a-days and stuff like that.
And they didn't make a lot of money, so a lot of them really had a job in the off season, or they didn't want to do all this stuff we do now. So these guys train, and they train in what I would call unsupervised, not NFL training situations. And I don't know how much stress they're putting on their body in ways that don't relate to football. When you had them in your building all the time, you could manage what they did. That'd be what the strength and conditioning coaches will tell you. Who's working with them? What are they doing? We got guys running in the ocean and all kinds of, running on the beach. So I do think I think the smart guys learn that rest is important, recovery, but a lot of guys feel like they got to keep going all year round. I love when they come on the show and go, how long did you take off after your last game? They'll go 2 weeks. 2 weeks doesn't cover a lot of recovery time. But their bodies are so tuned up that they are fairly fragile. Those hamstrings.
Here we go.
A lot of guys are walking around with 2 and 3% body fat.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this final Thursday of the month. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Go to MillerandMoulton.com. Sign up for our Fantasy Football Summit Tuesday, August 11th with Dr. Roto. It's the best event going if you're into fantasy sports in any way, shape, or form. MillerandMoulton.com. You and Dr. Roto, food, drink, and fantasy football for a couple of hours. Pat Kirwan, kind enough to join us. This will be the last time he does so before he's heading out and going to training camps. Pat, of course, co-host of Moving the Chains on NFL Radio, weekdays 3 to 6. Pat, how does that sound to you? Last time you'll shoot the bull with us before you'll be in a training camp.
Well, before I get there, just because I can't believe you didn't do it, you're so predictable. 41 days to opening game. Let me rub that back at you two. Yeah.
Wow. You think you're causing harm to us. We love that stuff. Okay,
Yeah,
you want
well,
to talk about your favorite 41s in football, like Fulton Walker? I mean, let's go.
yeah, Matt Snell. Just saying. I'm fired up to go. You got to get enthusiastic about it. Like I get more excited as my preparation is coming to an end. I'm getting ready for each place we're going to go and try to get ahead of it a little bit, know the roster, make sure I have the best topics in my mind on the tip of my tongue. So when I sit down with the GM and the head coach or the key players, that I can get into some things that are going to provide the listeners some insight as to how the season looks like it's going to go.
All right.
That's important.
Okay, Pat. Injuries notwithstanding, and all three of us understand how big they are in training camp. But in today's training camp, there aren't the battles for positions that there were, hell, even a decade ago. I mean, most teams know what their starting lineup looks like right now. So with that being said, how differently do GMs and coaches approach training camp? I know we practice a hell of a lot less than we used to. I know we don't hit as much as we used to. So not only those differences in training camp, but because we kind of know who our roster is heading into training camp, how does that make training camp different for GMs and coaches?
Well, you got a bunch of players, let's say 10 players that are consuming 80% of the salary cap. Let's look at the top 3 players, and they're consuming, in a bad cap situation, maybe 45% of the cap. So that's what's driving your decisions. You've got to get to your opening game with your best players. And they're willing, and Sean McVay is a great example. They're willing to risk preparation, what I'd call contact preparation, in order to get the best players there. So they're not hitting very much. But let me go back to the beginning, Mark. This sometimes reminds me, and maybe it reminds you guys, we've had a salary cap for 32 years. And so this is not a new phenomenon. We've been doing this since 93. I'll never forget 92 and 91. We practiced, and all of a sudden when the cap came in and I started looking at players by their cap number, which is what I had to do, I started realizing there's no wiggle room if they go down. You're going to be stuck with IR situations, and you're going to have a lot of expensive guys, and you're not going to have the resources to replace them. So I do think over time we figured out, and we've modified practice so many times, that there are plenty of guys that are okay. They all love the scrimmages with another team. Controlled environment, lots of reps at things that we don't do in preseason games, and you have officials on the field with a fast whistle. They're going to ensure that you're not hitting the quarterback, and you're almost not hitting each other. There's always a fight breaks out, but they're not really playing what we'd call full-speed football, as Jamal Adams likes to call it. And he can't practice because we don't practice at full speed, and he can't play fast until he does. So I think all those things add up to it. And I sometimes think this is not scientific, but I do think there's many athletes that might be too finely tuned. And that can lead to, the hamstring injuries and everything else that happened to the receivers. So back in the day when guys, way more than 32 years ago, guys would not be training as much, and they'd go to camp with the anticipation to get in shape there. Now it's, you better come in shape. Yeah, because we're not going to do a lot. It's rehearsal. And all you have to do is look at the salary cap book, Mark, and just draw a line right under the 53rd player. There's one line. That's who's making the team. Then draw a line under the top 22 players, and that's who your starters are.
He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is weekdays, 3 to 6 Eastern. And Pat always joins us courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between. Pinchers, where you can't fake fresh. Bill Walsh used to famously say, in the day and age when I think he was dealing with 46 or 47-man rosters, that he had about 5 roster spots every year that were up for grabs, that you had to, even if you were the 89 Niners and you were great, okay, that you had to roll over about 10% of your roster every year. So he would say there's about 5 spots open every year. Of the 46, 47, 53, whatever you want to call it, how many of those spots do you think are genuinely available when training camp gets underway?
Well, let's just do the numbers backwards. You go to camp with 90. You're going to put, on average, 5 on injured reserve. That puts you down to 85. You're going to have 16 for the practice squad. That puts you down to 69. And then you got to get to 53. And now one of the reasons we cut everybody on the same day is no one wants to put a guy out there in a third preseason game that you're going to cut. So I just think it's not that hard. So honestly, probably 10 guys, there's a debate. And nothing's worse than having to keep a guy you want to cut because your starter and the number 2 guy at the position are in injury reserve. Now you're keeping a guy you didn't want to keep and probably releasing a guy or sneaking him through to the practice squad that you wanted to keep. So it's a little touchy, but I think 5 to 10 debates go on about the last guy or two. And then I'll turn and say, hey, how much clout did you give this special teams coach? Some guys have no clout. You're going to coach who's on the 53. And some guys get core players. Belichick used to leave 5 for the special teams coach for his core players. Not everybody does that. So it's a little different around the league, but I'll say it one more time. The preseason is rehearsal time. It's not making the team time. That's already been determined by your contract.
All right, Pat, back in the day, we had player managers in baseball. Russell was a player coach for the Celtics. Is Matt Ryan going to be forced to be the first director of player personnel, president, GM, whatever the hell his title is, /QB? Because it doesn't seem that Atlanta may have one when they start the season. I mean, Tua's already hurt. Penix won't be ready. Atlanta's already got a quarterback problem, and it's not even August, Pat.
I know. I'm pretty good friends with Matt. We worked together for the last couple of years. I'm reluctant to text him with that question. He is Irish. He's got a bit of a temper. He appears to be mellow to most, but I don't want to stir him up with that. Although I am going to send him a note, and I'm going to visit there, Cam, and spend time with him and Kevin. But I will say, I don't think I have the guts to do it, but I'd love to get a jersey with a number 1 on it and put on the back nameplate, president, and say, here, wear this to practice. But I won't do it.
Hey, do you think there's actually a competition for the quarterback job anymore? Like, do you think first-year head coach in Cleveland can get away with having an old-fashioned quarterback camp competition, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever? Do you think there's room for any of that anymore?
No, I'm not a big believer in it, but I think that you cannot drift into 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You've seen enough during the spring. You kind of have a sense of how it really is. You can make these announcements. We're having a competition, Cleveland, Minnesota, the Raiders, Atlanta, but you better get out of that thing after 1 week, because 2 things are going to happen. Your starter's not going to be ready to play, and your guy who's going to go to the bench is getting more reps than he needs. So the problem is that people want to be fair, but you have to be an evaluator, and you cannot wait that long. And if they do, you're going to find yourself not ready for the opener.
All right, Pat. Vita Vea wants a trade. I don't know if they'll get it. Who knows what's going to happen there, but I thought they should have taken care of both he and Baker. They're not. That's their choice. They can always franchise one. You're really good at this. This is an area where we have a little bit higher thoughts of players sometimes than you do. If they were to trade him, what's he worth? And is he worth more come trade deadline because a team will need him? We watched what happened with Baltimore last year when they lost their anchor in the middle of that defensive line. This is a key cog for the Bucs. I need him on my team if I'm going to be a playoff team, but I'm just curious, what's he worth on the open market?
Yeah, great question. Quinnen Williams left last year, right? At the trade deadline, went off to Dallas. So he's going to be available. At least they're going to try to make him available, other teams. So the answer to your question is, do you have to negotiate with him before you give compensation? Because if you want to keep him past the second half of the season and into next year, you're going to want to get the right to negotiate with him before you actually announce what your trade compensation is going to be. If the player doesn't want to negotiate with you, then you're going to say, here's a 5th round pick or a 4th round pick. And then the club's going to say, we're not doing it. But if the player falls in love with the place, like Quinnen Williams is already negotiating for a deal, right? He's trying to get something going here, but he didn't play that well for that little piece. So that is the biggest part of what the compensation would be. If the player says, I'll do it. And they say, we'll pay you the market value, which, by the way, just went through the roof. I think it's getting harder and harder to get anything good for him.
He's back, Kirwan. NFL Radio Move of the Chains, which is weekdays 3 to 6. And then in about a month or so, head to New York to be part of CBS's NFL Today show, joining us once again on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Where do you start, Pat?
New England,
Okay.
and then over to Buffalo, and then to Detroit, then Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Moving along.
I'm fascinated with the Patriots because I just don't know what to think of them going into this year.
Me too. You know, we can sit around and we do it all the time and talk. Well, they had to, they didn't have a first place schedule. Now they do. I think most people that I'm talking to think Buffalo's going to take the division back. Kind of a conclusion that's being made without substance, really. But Vrabel is a very polished head coach. He knows how to get a team ready. And I'll get there and I'll feel like I'm watching Belichick again, which I like. He'll be riding them hard about, the Super Bowl's over. He learned from Belichick how to transition to the next year. Drake May was terrific last year.
By the way, I don't know what Lombardi did, and I'm not even talking about that, but is that guy that big of an idiot football wise? I mean, I didn't realize how fabricated his background is, and basically the only guy he's been able to learn to suck up to is Belichick, who likes him. But I mean, the people that are throwing stones at how bad that roster was in North Carolina and how he doesn't know what he's doing is interesting to me.
Yep. Well, Mike was at Hofstra as a player. As I was getting there, he was leaving, but he didn't really play very much. He's related to Vince Lombardi, and he had a chance to move along fairly quickly. He and Belichick have had a long-standing relationship and one or two times I think there was some issues where they had to deal with the league office maybe. But they're close. I think they underestimated the guys. They kind of got bold about the portal. You guys go in the portal. We're going to be, if you want to come here, put your name in the portal. We're looking, I don't know that they had a staff and they were studying as much as they thought they were. They learned from it. I mean, it happens to other guys. So interesting because, as an example, Jim Nagy, who ran the Senior Bowl, he went to be the GM of Oklahoma.
Right.
He knew the players inside out.
Right.
And he didn't make any mistakes, really. So they got to figure it out. But now I guess Lombardi's on the sideline for a while.
Well, they had like 70 new guys last year. They've got 60 new guys this year. So
yeah. Well, they kind of intimated to their fans that they were going to be more interested in, the kids coming out of high school. I don't know if that's true, but you got to have a style of coaching for the young ones. Maybe there's a little issue there too.
He should be more interested in the high school kids. First off, he's in a very rich area and getting richer by the day for high school talent. And secondly, no one's recruiting the high school talent anymore.
No,
he should go after the elite high school kids in that region, okay, and then do the best he can in the portal.
I think you're 100% right, and the fear is that then he's training them for the next place. They're going to leave because of the style, and it's pretty tough. He's not easy on them. They'll be getting in the portal after their sophomore year, and some after their freshman year, and you've got to deal with that risk.
Yes, you do. And the one thing, the college guy we have on, I was listening to his podcast, and his guys made a point that it seems from what they say, and these are guys that do college football all day, every day, that the Big Ten has been able to, the good programs, Michigan, Ohio State, you know who they are, even Indiana, they're able to get more loyalty up there. Whereas the kid in the SEC right now, if he's getting 400 from Georgia and LSU offers him 425, they're like, I'm gone. They did whatever the top price is, I'm going. And they're not doing that from what these guys are saying as much up north. And I'm not into, what each salary is for each team, but I found that interesting that those coaches are doing a little bit better job of retaining more guys. Well, and that's not easy because you only got so much money.
Well, that's another issue with it. And I think the Southeast Conference, there's a number of teams, David would know this better than me, but I've been told that some of them don't have enough money to really compete. And up north, a lot of them have more money than you think.
Bingo. Here we go.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Our remaining moments with Pat Kirwan of NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, which is weekdays 3 to 6. Pat will join us twice a week during the season, but we're wrapping up our off-season visits today. Courtesy of Pinchers, Tampa to Key West, all points in between. Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. If I can go back and touch upon a subject I brought up earlier, so who do you think they'll go with in Cleveland? Do you think they will give Deshaun one final chance as he enters his free agent year? Or, hey, we're probably the fourth place team in this division. Why don't we play one of the young quarterbacks?
Well, I would think that they should play one of the young ones, but maybe they're going to find out that Watson is significantly better, which we all think he couldn't be because it was deterioration of skills. But if he's significantly better and you play him, you might be able to trade him. And I think that's still always, you got to look at every player as a for sale sign. And the one you say no one will ever want him, yeah, if you lose your starter and he's played well for a month, you might move him. Who knows? I mean, they've paid him all the money. There's not a lot left on the deal. So, always keep that in the back of your mind. But I think if it was a fair battle, Watson should beat him out. Experience counts. And his ability to play and see the field, see the game, all that stuff is in his resume. It's not in Shadur's resume. And Shadur is not very fast. And when you're young, you've got to be able to escape things. We talked about the sack ratio for all those young quarterbacks. It was 1 every 10 pass plays. If Watson can be a 1 every 20 pass play, then all of a sudden he'll win the job. But if they procrastinate this thing and go on forever, remember, to me, if Watson's starting to win, he needs a lot of reps to get ready. And so does Shadur. So pick the guy early and get to it.
Well, that's the part of this you've impressed upon me is that they're now with only one practice. We're not doing 2 and 3 a days. There are only so many reps at these practices, and you're right, Pat. It's a rehearsal. So, with that being said, because it's a rehearsal, and we have more and more guys doing the hold-ins, Robinson and Gibbs, and Vita Vea is not going to practice. How much does that hurt the rehearsal? And at a certain point, same coach, same regime, same player, that they don't need it, if you know what I mean. What's the difference between the quarterback needing reps and the team that, Strahan didn't do camp, Vita Vea is going to miss a little bit of time? Where is the line?
Well, I think it's by position first. Quarterbacks need a lot of reps. Young receivers need a lot of reps. But running backs like Gibbs and Bijan, just keep them healthy. They're in great shape. They know what to do. They've already been told what plays are new, probably none, that they're going to run. And they've already rehearsed those in the springtime. I'd be real careful about worrying about the running backs. Just keep them ready to go. Again, look at Sean McVay and how he operates. When you get to the quarterback, and maybe the offensive line coach won't have it. Have you ever noticed there's not a lot of hold-ins in the offensive line? The Lion Tamer and his 5 guys, they go to practice every day. They're lunch pail guys. But pass rushers, I mean, even 2 weeks is all they're going to need of
Pat,
stuff.
can Bijan Robinson by himself win the NFC South? He's the best player in that division. He's one of the 10 best players in football. He's elite. He's game breaking. He single-handedly beat the Rams when they were trying to be the 1 seed down the stretch. I mean, he's amazing. But can a running back single-handedly win a division anymore?
Well, let's use last year first. He didn't do it last year in a division that was won with an 8-9 record, and he couldn't get to 9-8.
Yeah, but I would argue they may not have had competent coaching most of that year also.
Well, at the end of the day, it's about players. And you're asking if a running back, running back, can win the division. He didn't do it yet. And I would say that he can't do it by himself. It's too much of a team sport. I would love to be tempted to say yes to that. But I'd ask you the same thing about Gibbs. Can Gibbs do it? The answer is going to be no. Quicker. Why? Because the division's harder.
Yes.
But he couldn't. If you ask me that and the Bucs won the division with a 10-7 record, I'd say no way. But the reason you're asking in my mind is that an 8-9 won it.
Yes.
And he still couldn't do it.
All right. Just a general question. 2 divisions you just brought up. Which one's harder to predict this year? NFC South, NFC North.
Well, I'm going to almost all the South. I'm going to see Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. So I'll have a great sense of that. But I know why you're asking the question, because no one distinguished themselves. I still think Tampa Bay has a chance to do it with the quarterback. And, well, we were told yesterday that Vita Vea and Todd Bowles were standing together laughing. So let's leave it at that. He'll be fine. He'll play and he'll be fine. And if they trade him, they trade him. Up north, I think the rush to judgment or excitement about Chicago is a little premature.
Why?
Defense. I don't buy that defense.
Okay, who's got the best defense in that division then?
Who has the best defense in that division? Minnesota.
Because of the coordinator.
Yeah, he's a madman.
Yeah, he's top 3 in the league.
And let me say this. The reason I'm a little conservative on Chicago is I don't think any of us 3, anyone in the media gives any or enough credit to the defensive coaches in this league. They know who Caleb is now. If you think they didn't spend the entire offseason talking to every coach that ever went against them, modifying their game plans, doing the things that really cause problems for Caleb, they're going to go after him. And they're going to look, it happens all the time in this league. Look at Stroud. We can blame the coaches, but Stroud hit a wall. Jaden Daniels had some injuries, but he hit a wall. These defensive guys are not letting these young quarterbacks have their way after they get a big year of watching them. I got assigned a quarterback one time, and it was for the whole offseason. I had to communicate with anybody and everybody that went with that guy and figured out till we had a modified plan specifically for that person. And I think Caleb's going to be up against that.
Remember coming into last year at this time, we said, man, the Chiefs won all those 1-score games, and they win like 11 of them or something crazy. And we said, you can't do that 2 years in a row. And sure enough, even before Mahomes got hurt, they were losing all those 1-score games. Well, the Bears pulled,
rabbit out of a hat.
Yeah, like they were trailing at the 2-minute warning 5 or 6 times last year and won all those games. I mean, that makes me look at the Bears and go, are we sure they're a double-digit win team, or were they a 7-win team in disguise?
Well, you're the schedule. Mark and I enjoy listening to you. They got a first-place schedule. Life changes.
No, I understand where both of you are coming from, because you guys both picked the Lions a while back. Don't know if you're sticking with that. I picked the Bears a while back. I'm probably sticking with it. I guess I trust the coach to make this quarterback improve even more than I look at the other teams in the division. I don't like where the Packers are at from a year ago. I don't like where the Lions are at from a year ago. So I do find it interesting that But again, Pat, we got about a minute here. The Bears, the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings, any of them could win this damn division.
Right. And that was your question. How do you predict the winner of it? So I think there's plenty of reason to make a case for any. If we were on a TV show and a guy said, okay, you guys, we got to cover the NFC North. Who do you want? I'll take the Packers. No, I'll take the Lions. I'll take the Bears. And we'll give you 3 minutes to make your case. We could all make a case for all four teams. And no one wants to take the Minnesota Viking case. But beware of those guys.
That's because they have the worst quarterback situation. That's why. And we're so quarterback driven now. And I think our predictions are such. He's Pat Kirwan. Pat, enjoy your weekend coming up. Safe travels. We'll catch up with you next week, wherever it may be on the road.
Yep, Tuesday and 2 days next week. And I'll have so many camp stories I have to tell you about them.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Paula, I have never seen someone so scorned by an assistant coach, a coordinator leaving for a head coaching job. Like, you hold this personally against Ben Johnson. Like, he shouldn't have taken the Bears job. Like, I find that to be hysterical. Like, your hate for him, I mean, it's something. I don't know what's bigger, your ability to try to look the other way with all the things that Michigan's done wrong, or your hatred for Ben. Those are, I mean, they're necking. That's 1 and 1A, Paul, in your world. I mean, that and some, Tour de France coverage. But you just hate him. Is it because of how important he was to Detroit? Oh, hey, I know. Left Twix, we've already talked about it. Hey, I mean, I don't know if you heard when I had Ryan Spader on. I clearly said that, to me, the Astros are the team, if they get in, that scare me the most. I mean, I would love to see them get a pitcher between now. If I'm the Astros, don't you think they need an arm or two? Because their pitching's horrible. Of course we do. Adam, you're funny. You're funny, Adam. You make me laugh. Your comments make me laugh. I actually, Adam, was thinking about you over the weekend because there was a comment. Somebody in Connecticut, I believe, thought they saw a Bigfoot and that it had no boobs. That was literally what the headline of the article read. I think they need pitching more than that, Left Twix. They can mash. They can't stop anybody else from scoring. Sonny, I've got to be honest. You care far more about the Rocket Mortgage tournament than anybody not named Paula, because she's also a Detroiter. I have to be brutally honest. I'm done with the golf season until probably February, because I don't care about the FedEx Cup. There's no big tournaments left.
Super Bowl weekend's Phoenix. No, Left Twix. Amazing what they've done. Amazing.
We literally talked. I mean, I know you're not here the whole show. We talked about it at length both today and yesterday, Left Twix. I don't know about at length, but yeah, I mean,
I've specifically said that I gave up on the Astros for this year. Now, I mean, you have to admit, how many times can you be below 500 on July 30th and still be very much in a playoff race?
And to Clark, who's taking it seriously with that question, and Jules, who knows me a little better, will not watch. I shouldn't say that. It's possible the President's Cup gets on my television at some point, but there's this little thing called football going on while they play that, and I don't care.
And I think
I care more about the shootout in Naples, sorry, David, than I do about the President's Cup.
I think the only way the President's Cup can get any oxygen is if they pick a couple of people out of the norm. Put a Patrick Reed on the team. Put this kid who won last week in his third start. Put a few people on the team that are different.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. On this final Thursday of July, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. So we had a few things going on today. It's National Cheesecake Day.
Yep.
It's National Chili Dog Day, right?
Correct.
And you went with between now and the start of the football season, which you could all determine what that date is. But basically, what's going to interest you the most? And we gave you three choices: baseball, NFL training camp stuff, or spending time with the family. And I believe baseball is winning.
Baseball is winning on, I believe, both. No, spending time with family winning on Miller_Moulton on X. Baseball winning in the Twitch and YouTube chat room. I don't know. I'd have to, do some quick math to add them up, but those are the two that are leading right now. I voted spending time with family. However, I'm not sure that my family would vote the same way. My daughter may pick NFL training camp.
Right. She may go, Dad, go with baseball.
Right. I'll spend time with you. Are you going to take me somewhere? And what do I get when we get there?
Right.
So, but I understand. I just kind of having some fun. I hesitated to put this up there because David might throw things at his computer trying to hit me. several of you have commented in the Twitch chat room and on the Pelican Roofing in Florida text line. They go baseball / LLWS.
Oh my goodness.
Ah!
I think all of the Little League baseball television coverage, when it really went big, well, I think, Mark, it was probably the first summer that we did a show together 20 years ago. Because, as we talked about last week, our first show together was July 24th. And then the whole month of August was spent with regional Little League baseball around the country, and then eventually Williamsport. And there was virtually nothing else. We were doing afternoons then, and there was nothing in the afternoon to put on the TV in our studio except Little League baseball. And we got into a discussion one day, and I said, Mark, this is the bane of my existence right here. This is the beginning of the end of society as we know it. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, 11 and 12-year-olds, and we're televising their baseball games, okay? And everything about it, the travel costs, the pressure that's being put on these kids to play a recreational sport, okay? The cheating that's going on because of all that can be won, all right? I hate all of it. I honestly, I loved it when we didn't televise. Maybe we televised the regional final to get to Williamsport, but I loved it when the only Little League baseball that we had televised in this country was Williamsport.
Right. At that time, we only had 4 teams going, too.
Well, we had 8. We had 8 total if you threw in the international.
Right. But four U.S. teams, though.
Right. Yeah. North, South, East, West.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And then we doubled it.
Right. And that's
we
fine.
Doubled it. And I was fine with that. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with more regions being represented. Okay, sure. But now, the first time we break out Little League playoff, oh my goodness.
Well, and my major bone of contention has always been, and I know you guys can all give me examples of players who have played in it that have gone on to be stars or football players or whatever. But basically, the high point of this person's life is at 12.
Right.
And that just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But again, I like the Little League World Series. I have no problem. I also understand it from ESPN's standpoint.
Yeah, because people watch.
Well, not only that, doesn't cost anything.
Not much.
Now, I mean, at the end of the day, compared to what they pay for other programming.
Oh, no, the rights fees are
like for the rating they get for rights fees. Oh my goodness. It's a boondoggle for ESPN.
I will say, and I think in part it grew in popularity inside the Bristol building in each year because more and more announcers were not doing Major League Baseball games. And so, believe it or not, they took it as a way, let's get out of the office. But announcers don't laugh. Announcers used to fight over Little League assignments at Bristol. Okay, prominent announcers. Okay, can they get to Williamsport? If so, how many games do I get at Williamsport? Okay, for the longest time, Brent Musburger had the semis and the finals. Okay, you knew things were changing when Carl Ravitch started doing the semis and the finals. I kid you not, this became behind closed doors a negotiation in contracts for assignments. They started diving into the Little League World Series because they knew how many people were watching it.
So I have no problem with it. I had to laugh, finish golf about a week ago. And I have a buddy, Gino from Boston. I've even joked when David says, when David was doing shows, I might bring Gino on for a segment just because I want the accent and his take from Boston because he makes me laugh. But we finished. I had sent him a text about something last week, and he comes back with, yep, watching the girls' Little League World Series softball right now. And I went, oh, dear God.
Hey, your dad was all over it.
He was over college softball.
He was.
He loved the Little League World Series, too.
Yes.
The girls weren't on yet. I mean, my dad's been gone for, 8 years or something like that. It is, he loved the Little League World Series. And I remember, I knew a friend of mine who I still talk to, his son, and his son's got to be in his 20s now, but his son played for the Boise, Idaho team. And I'm like, I'll be damned. Look at little Haley out there. And Tom married a very pretty woman, and they love showing his boy's mom. She got a lot of TV time. And so I mean, I got a kick out of watching, here's a guy that I, played pickup basketball with, and his son's playing for a shot to get to the Little League World Series. I thought that was fantastic. But
it just reminds me, maybe this is too personal and what have you, but I joke with Andy Enfield, who's now at SMU, who was the coach at FGCU when he took him to the Sweet 16. And I joke with him all the time and go, I don't know who got you to USC more, Comer and Thompson or Amanda's cutaways in the science. Okay. Because I go, trust me, the nation took a love to how you guys played basketball. They fell in love with your wife too. Okay. I said, trust me, Pat Hayden didn't know anything about you, but he went, is that his wife?
And she fit in just fine at USC, and she'll fit in just fine in Dallas for what it's worth.
She didn't look out of place at Manhattan Beach, Mark. She did not look out of place.
She was once on the cover of Maxim magazine, if I'm not mistaken.
You're not.
And that's a
right.
If anybody remembers that periodical, they didn't put ugly people on it.
No, they really didn't. No.
Ever.
No.
Back when, we had magazines and newspapers.
Yeah. Wow. Magazines.
Right.
Now, do we have to explain that now to your daughter's generation?
Well, you weren't here one of the days, Monday or Tuesday. And when I was doing Today was the day when it was Jim Davis's birthday, the guy that created Garfield.
Right.
And I made a comment that at Michigan State, we had the State News, still a great student newspaper, but they had the Detroit Free Press, comics, and crossword, etc., on the back 2 pages. Like, it was a real newspaper. You had, and trying to explain to someone how big the Far Side was in the late 80s and maybe into the early 90s, my kid would have no idea. My daughter would have even less of it. Like she already calls her brother Unc, which is a phrase now for old people. He was born in the 19s, David. My God, you old man, you. So, she sent me a video of like, are you Unc? And I'm like, sweetie, I'm older than I didn't watch some of the things that are on this video because I'm too old for them. I'm Gramps. And that happened. I don't even know if I shared that with you, but that happened. My son's in town. We go to play golf. And the daughter comes with us. And the starter at our golf course makes a comment because my daughter drove the car over. And he came over trying to be funny. Oh, your granddaughter old enough to drive this? I snapped my neck around. And said, excuse me? Said, that's my daughter, sir. That was the only time I wanted to play. Hey, you work for me, pal.
Right.
This is my place. You better watch what you say. Boy, did my son and daughter think that was funny. And my son thought it was funny for only a minute. But I said, that makes you the dad, and you're not even dating anybody. So take that for what it's worth, big fella.
Right. And the wife can't laugh because that makes her grandma.
She wasn't there. She would have, she would have taken that the wrong way too. Damn it, I don't feel like a grandpa. I know I'm old enough to be one. I know I've got a lot of friends, including David, who have grandkids, but damn it, stop it.
Well, now I will say I have no interest in the Little League World Series, except now I want to see who replaced Ravitch, because he was the number 1 announcer of the Little League World Series. Okay, I'm wondering because I don't.
It was a fun. By the way, it was a fun broadcast. Not even being a jerk.
Yes, yes, you actually saw a side from Ravitch that you didn't see when he was doing Major League Baseball.
They had fun. It was a little bit of a throwback, if you know what I mean.
Eduardo Perez, and who's very different than when he's doing MLB Network Radio. He's serious there, not serious at all with the Little League World Series. Okay.
By the way, we haven't talked about it because you weren't here Monday and Tuesday. And I don't know, you weren't feeling great at the end of last week. But Sunday night baseball, John Kruk was a superstar. That Phillies Yankees. They did an inning on clip-on ties and basically an inning on him watching reality TV. And I forgot the new show that he's into because but Benetti there asked him if he's into Love Island. He goes, well, I've seen all of those. The new one I'm into, however, it was some show about matchmaking husbands and wives.
Right.
And I mean, the next pit, and he doesn't stop. And they didn't let him. It was as good of television. It's why baseball can be great on TV. And if I'm NBC, I'm leaning towards he and Kruk going forward because it was that good.
Okay, now the reason they got Kruk, though, was it was the Phillies home game, and that's NBC's philosophy.
They had Girardi and Kruk.
And some people have really liked it, and other people have hated it. They don't have any continuity. I have to admit, I think Benetti is terrific, and that he blends in really well with all the analysts and plays off them. I think really well. I think for a May, June, July, August, I think the approach works for NBC. I'm curious how people are going to handle playoff baseball. And quite frankly, would you change your philosophy if you're NBC and pick an analyst from somewhere and put them with Benetti and go?
Well, this was Benetti on his own earlier in the week, David, and you love when they call something other than the sport.
The chase for the squirrel is on, and the squirrel is in the corner, and the squirrel is still eluding an entire horde of grounds crew members. And the squirrel's free once again. Hemmed in? No, I won't be hemmed in. I have freedom on my mind. Trying to go between the legs, and eventually he gets away again and hops through the towel and hops through another towel.
Love it.
It was the best part of baseball on Monday night. We shared that on Tuesday. David wasn't here. We did it during the starting five. I can go back to Benetti and the squirrel over and over again.
I was going to say Harlan's still the gold medal when it concerns animals loose on the field, but that's a medalist right there.
Darn right it is. That's very solid. Miller and Moulton, a reminder, our fantasy football summit, August 11th. Sign up now. MillerandMoulton.com. MillerandMoulton.com. Dr. Roto will be there doing his thing. 7 to 9. You get dinner. You get great fantasy football information. And we'll have a good night. MillerandMoulton.com is where you sign up. Tickets are available. Get your Heine and have a Heine at the Fantasy Football Summit. Miller, Moulton, Dr. Roto, August 11th. Doubletree Hotel, where Shoeless Joe's is in the Bell Tower in Fort Myers. The Pro Hour coming up. We'll talk some more college football tomorrow. Matt Baker expected to join us on the show. Still working out some things for tomorrow as well. If you miss any of the show, MillerandMoulton.com. Our poll question today: between now and the start of football season, what are you most interested in? Baseball, NFL training camp, or, oh my goodness, spending time with the family? How dare they? Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, Miller and Moulton.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape. If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I need a new mic stand. I'm gonna have to order that today. I keep forgetting. This thing is really starting to irritate me. Tim, you've made that point like 3 times. I mean, I got it. I'm not trying to be you've literally typed that so many times in there. I know that you. Do you want me to read it on? I don't know. I mean, you keep typing it as if you think we're missing out on that discussion. I'm not sure what you're. She is, huh? Okay, if you say so. I think the TV numbers speak for themselves, number one, Delphin. No, plate didn't break, but that is funny. I agree.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the final hour on this second to last show of July for Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Final Thursday of July. A reminder, 12 days from now, we've got the Fantasy Football Summit, Tuesday, August 11th. Go to MillerandMoulton.com, sign up for it. It's that simple. It's you, Dr. Roto, dinner. Okay, non-alcoholic drinks provided, but you'll be at a place where if you want an alcoholic drink, you'll be able to get it.
Oh, we'll have a cash bar. We will have a cash bar.
So MillerandMoulton.com, sign up. It's 12 days away. Dr. Roto, and it's early enough where you can have all the info you need for your fantasy draft. So
I may even have a drink with you.
Then there's that.
I may have won. I think I told you this, David. You may have been gone. I think I said it on the air, but I've been doing my recent doctor's appointments via Zoom.
Right.
And before the appointment, the physician's assistant will call me and go over whatever crap we need to go over. And the last thing she said to me last week was, "Do you have any questions for the doctor?" And I said, "No, but I have a question for you because I know what the doctor's answer is going to be." And she said, "Well, what's that?" I said, "Look, my birthday's coming up in August." I said, "I know that I haven't been able to drink." I said, "But I was worried about how many more birthdays I was going to get. And I'm pretty happy to have one this year." So,
right.
what are the chances of me being having a glass of wine on my birthday? And she said, "Well, if you have a drink occasionally, that's okay." And I didn't hear anything else after that. I'm like, all right.
Now we have to define occasionally.
Well, I had one that night. I'm not going to lie. I think Friday's been my day. I have a drink. I actually had two last Friday. I went nuts. I had 2 Miller Lights. Guys, the club freaked out. But one day a week I have a drink, and that's and then I give my blood, and then I am waiting to see the liver numbers just to make sure everything's okay. Most important test now, even though it's not. It's the one I care about. So I may even have a drink with you on August 11th at the Fantasy Football Summit.
Now, Doc Roto was on yesterday on the show, and he said, if you follow my advice, you are going to get a C, D, or F, probably a D or an F from ESPN or Yahoo when you pump in your team. And trust me, as somebody who does this for a living, all right, they do their draft grades based on last year's performance. You want to get at least a C, if not a D or an F, okay, with this year's team that you draft in those ESPN and Yahoo forums. So Raymond on YouTube chips in the chat room and says, "Well, I followed Doc last year. Yahoo gave me an F, and I won my league." There you go. There you go. We brought in an expert here. We're really trying to make you money. So Tuesday the 11th, MillerandMoulton.com, Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit. Sign up. It's the best thing going if you're into fantasy football. There's nothing that you can find that beats this. Seriously.
David, are you worried? Not worried. Worried's the wrong word. Are you bothered that we haven't had a whole lot of trades? I mean, I think Colorado moved a pitcher. Do you think this is going to be all hell breaks loose Sunday, Monday? Our worst nightmare kind of happened National League-wise.
What's that?
Everybody's in it. I mean, literally, you're 2.5 games back if you're 500 for crying out loud.
Correct. Right now, the Phillies and Diamondbacks are tied. They each get a playoff bid. They're tied for 5th. And then after that, Padres, 2 games above 500? Marlins, Nats, Pirates, all a game above 500. Cardinals at 500. They're all 1.5 to 2.5 games out of the playoffs. So, Mark, in that aspect, you're right. Here's the other thing that happened, though. Detroit became a seller yesterday.
But that's the only, to my knowledge, that's the only team. And
I
trust me,
agree.
they've got big things to sell if they want to, because there's more than Skubal. That Mize has been talked about, so I get it.
I agree, but that's what's, you asked, am I surprised? The reason I'm not surprised is we haven't had enough chaos this week. Like, think how close the Marlins were to becoming sellers. And then they swept the Phillies. If the Phillies take 2 out of 3 for the Marlins, and I think, Mark, they had 2 games in which they had 6-run leads and lost. If the Phillies had taken 2 out of 3 from the Marlins are sellers. To me, what I'm curious about is who's the general manager that deep down knows they're not that good. They're 500 or thereabouts.
I think that's the Cardinals, by the way. Man, I think the Cardinals should be seller.
I agree. Here's what I'm wondering. Can you be sellers if you're the Nats? I mean, their pitching's terrible. I know they're 2 games above 500, and they're, how many games? I just went through it. They're out. They're 2 games out of the playoffs, same record as the Marlins. But, I mean, who do you think's more in it going down the stretch, the Marlins or the Nats? And the Marlins have pitching. Don't you have to favor the Marlins?
David, is this a dumb statement? And you give me the answer. Marlins or Nats? To your point, if one of them makes the playoffs, I like the Marlins to be able to be the team that can upset someone because they have pitching. But from now until October, what's more important? Your pitching or being able to mash against a bunch of bad teams? I mean, is this kind of the old adage? You need pitching in the playoffs, but you need offense in the regular season? I don't know. I don't know what the answer to your question is. I understand what you're trying to say. And in the playoffs, I agree with you. But to get there?
Do we need a sweep or two between now and Sunday? Can you look at the schedule and see teams that are playing one another? I mean, for goodness sakes, doesn't Texas have Houston this weekend coming up?
Yeah, you've got Arizona and Cleveland. Both those teams go at it this weekend. The White Sox and the Rays. Nats and Braves. If the Nats get swept by the Braves, what does that do to your point, David?
And they should be sellers.
But Astros and Rangers, you're right.
I mean, Texas, if you're Houston, now if you lose 2 out of 3, you'll be 2 back, but you're below 500 for goodness sake. I mean, it's kind of like the year that the White Sox got all sorts of grief because they were 500 and they were only like 5 games out of a playoff spot. And the GM just said, come on, guys, we played baseball for 4 months. We were a 500 team. You think all of a sudden we're going to be a 600 team? Because that's pretty much what you have to do to then make the playoffs. And he said, no, we are what we are. And he sold and he took heat for it. And they won shortly thereafter, by the way, with some of the players that they acquired.
But look at, David and David got someone on his side with Mark Zeno about Skubal. And I think both Zeno and David know that's never going to happen. However, what the hell do the Rays do? Because they can't stand pat.
Well, listen, if they don't come out of the deadline with at least Luis Ariz, okay, they've got a top 5 system in baseball. They should not get out prospect for Luis Arise. He's hitting 330. Check out the bottom of their lineup and what their average is, what their on-base percentage is, and what their slugging percentage is. Hitting 330 with an 817 OPS. Roll over the bottom of that lineup to your top 3 hitters who are all stars. I mean, go get them, for goodness sakes. I don't care if you have to give up somebody a little better than what you wanted to give up. Are we trying to win here or not? The league sucks.
If it's not a rise, do you call Detroit and get Javi Baez?
No. No.
Why?
Terrible.
Does he have 1 year left on his contract? I think he's in last year.
Wouldn't sign him for a softball league.
All right.
No. Thought last year was a total fluke. They should have realized it, and they should have sent him packing. But with that contract, I know it's hard. No interest in Baez. Doesn't put the ball in play. No interest at all. Nope. No. You listen, Mark, you penciled it 3 weeks ago. You nailed it. You picked him out of the lineup and you said, this is who the Rays should get. Nothing's changed.
I know. The only thing that's changed, David, is that there's 3 other teams now talking about getting him.
Right.
That's what's changed.
So go get him.
And I don't understand with that guy. Like, I get it if I'm San Francisco. I think they're smart sitting around waiting. They're getting every day that goes on, they're getting more for him.
See, and if I'm the Giants, I'm 10 minutes away from him getting hit by a pitch on the hand. I've waited long enough. I think if you called him today and said, listen, we're dealing them before the weekend. We need your best offer today. I actually think they'd get what they want.
And, someone brought up the Astros. They need pitching. You know who else needs pitching? The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Which is amazing.
I know, but they do.
I know. Can't believe it.
And what's San Diego going to do with Miller? You've got him for 3 years after this? If he's indeed getting moved by the Padres, would you, if you were the Yanks, is Tatis of interest to you?
Oh, boy. Well, he's of more interest to me than I think he is to them, because I actually like the fact that he's got term on his contract, because we're not young and we're not athletic. And he's still young and he's still athletic. And yeah, he's probably overpaid. He's definitely overpaid. And he may not be a star ever again. Okay? But I got to get Judge out of the field, to be honest with you. I do. I have to. He's a China doll. I got to keep him out of the field. And I only got Stanton for 1 more year before I can shed myself of that.
Which is one of the worst contracts ever.
Ever.
Miller and Moulton. Trade deadline Monday. Nothing's really happened yet. But as David pointed out, weekend series could have everything to do with who's going next. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
He ain't getting unloaded, Sonny. He does not want to be traded. He has a no trade clause. So the Twins can't unload him. So that you've got the sentence wrong. Time for Buxton to rescind his no trade clause. One, he's back on the IL, so that won't, but he doesn't want to be traded.
Okay, Sonny, how long have you been listening to us?
I-
Sonny, he has a full no trade. He will not give it up. Okay? Literally. Bringing up Byron Buxton is a waste of time. I don't think Lindor gets traded at the deadline. I think there's the possibility he gets traded in the offseason. Well, whenever we have a new labor agreement.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Heading for the home stretch of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today? Today went final thoughts. All coming up. Baseball trade deadline 4 days away. Miller and Moulton are kind of geeky about it, to be honest, because there's a lot of teams within like 2 games of winning the division, wild card, some cases both. And whether it's mediocrity, parity, worse than that, I don't know. It's got us going. So we're all excited about it. And we'll see if anything happens. Because I'll tell you what, Mark, if this is a poof of a trade deadline, I don't think you could ever get us to talk baseball trade deadline ever again.
No, you're right. And I think part of this, David, at least from where I sit, is that you and I have been doing this 20 years. 20 years ago, when we got to August, we got all geeked out. We're all ready for football. Here we go. And about 2 years later, we realized, August sucks.
Ain't nothing going on.
I mean, there as much as, and look we understand baseball's no longer a national sport. It's not. Baseball is a regional sport. If you're doing New York talk radio, they're talking Yankees and who the Mets are going to unload. They're not even talking about the Giants. They may still be reveling in the Knicks a little bit, but that's, they're talking about their team. And to be brutally honest, because we're all over the state and we're a little bit out of the state, we don't try to out Tampa, the Tampa stations, and we're on in Tampa. We're never going to out Bucks or raise the Tampa stations. We're not trying to. It's not where we think we fit in the, sports talk world. But there are so many baseball teams in it this year that I guess I made a mistake. And Ryan Spader put me in my place earlier this week because I got excited when the Nats and the Boston Red Sox made a good old-fashioned horse trade. What do you guys need? A right-handed bat. What do you guys need? A pitcher. Hey, I got one of those. And unfortunately for the Red Sox, the poor son of a gun breaks his wrist the first game with the Sox, and he's probably done for the year, or at least till September. Okay, well, that sucks. But what Ryan Spader told me is he still believes it's get better for getting younger. And, well, with this many teams in it, with, virtually only 7-8 sellers out there, what happens?
I have to believe the labor situation is such that teams, I believe, have stopped the guessing game as to, so what do you think the deal's going to look like? What do you think? Are we going to have a cap next year? Are we going to have a ceiling and a floor? I think they've stopped doing the guessing game. And what I think, Mark, they're going to do is there's going to be very little salary traded unless it's expiring salary. And then during the offseason, how abbreviated it is or not, I think it could be chaos because both ways, teams that need to unload money and teams that maybe by the new set of rules need to add payroll.
Well, that's if indeed the owners believe Manfred's going to win. And, talking to a buddy, likes baseball. He thinks that the players this time will cave. David, flip a coin. I don't know. They never cave, and they always seem to win. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't.
If you ask the players, Glavine thought they caved in 2000. Not quite. He said, this is just as bad as 94. I can't believe we're going to go on strike again. And Glavine was one of the union leaders. And he said, we caved. We gave up more than we'd ever given up in a single negotiation before. We felt the sport couldn't survive another strike, lockout. But this last time around, Mark, players kicked them. Okay? There's a couple of things the players are a little unhappy about. But this last time around, remember, the owners put on a big press last time, and Boris and Scherzer and company, they kicked them. And this is Manfred's last shot at these guys. He's already announced he's retiring in 2 years. That's why I think still, we ain't going to have baseball in April of 27.
No, David, I would be surprised if we see baseball much before Memorial Day. I really would. Tim asks a question that I think is a great question in the chat room, and I have been pondering my answer, and I still don't have one. Because Byron Buxton has a no-trade clause, and he has been hard and firm. He ain't leaving the Twins. Mike Trout, same thing. Now, there's a little more to it with Trout because Artie Moreno lost Ohtani. Would he lose Trout? Trout's at the back end anyhow. So, but they've both maintained their loyalty to their team. And I respect the hell out of that. I truly do, David. I've talked about it a million times on this show. Different set of circumstances when I grew up, I get it. But all of my sports heroes in Detroit, if you will, all stayed there the whole time. I know it was a different era. I get it. But I was lucky that I rooted for, I thought, good guys and good players at the same time. And I have the ultimate respect for a guy that starts and finishes his career with one team. The other side of it, though, is, don't you want to play some meaningful baseball? And if you're actually loyal to these teams, is there part of you that says letting them trade me to help them down the road is the best thing I could do for this team? So I have no idea how to properly answer that for you, Tim. I really don't, because I can make a great argument for both sides.
I have respect for Buxton. I don't for Trout. The Twins have been competitive. Now, they haven't been as well run as they should have been, okay, and they should have been more competitive. But during the last half dozen years with Buxton, since he signed his contract, the Twins at least have been competitive. They've made the playoffs a couple times. The Angels have not. The Angels have been the worst organization in baseball for the last 10 years. And I'm sure Mike Trout's aware. Their farm system over the last 10 years has been the worst in baseball. They have been the worst organization in baseball. I'd put them even worse than the Rockies. And Mike Trout is fine playing meaningless baseball. No, I'm sorry. Nope. That at some point during these 10 years, come on. After 6 years, you don't want to play a meaningful game in August?
But David, I could argue for the first 6-7 years, he was never, unless he would have come out and made a big stink, which people would have gotten upset with him for, I got to get out of here. I don't think it was ever, I think it's only in the last 2-3 years where it's actually been on the table.
Yes, I agree. And, he hasn't helped his cause by being 100% healthy. I get it. I do. I've been paying attention. But no, that's why there's a part of me that wonders, could Mike Trout handle a Philadelphia or a Bronx? I mean, because he hasn't played a meaningful baseball game in a decade. I mean, could he handle it?
I mean, You want to say there's a big difference between the Bronx and Philly? Yeah, there is. But I've been watching some Philly games lately. Trey Turner's done a pretty good job for them. He hits the you-know-what out of the ball. They're giving him Bronx cheers when he fields a grounder because he's so bad in the infield right now.
Right. And remember, he's the guy a year ago in which they had to write columns in the newspaper saying, be nice to him.
So that's a hell of a point on Trout. What would he do if he were in those situations? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This is Miller and Moulton.
Michigan, Motor City Coney's. It's the old Pizza Hut in South Fort Myers, Island Park there. It's good. They have good Coney dogs. They got a Detroit sauce. They got a dog that snaps, and they got a good Coney sauce. That's all I'm looking for. I may be there in like 30 minutes too. I'm not joking. I effing love Coney dogs. Tuesday's their cheap day too, for what it's worth. I think you get 2 dogs for $5 or something like that.
Join Miller Fantasy. Your roof.
Yeah, that's what they should do, Soda. That's a great idea. It's just a little, diner, if you will. They have breakfast too. I mean, they're nice. I don't know how long they last. They've been there longer than I've expected because it's a bad location. Yeah, that one too, Soda. Yeah. I love dealing in Fantasyland. I was fine with their fries. I know someone bashed their fries. He said they suck. I thought their fries were fine. I don't go there for French fries. I very rarely get them. I get 2 hot dogs. That's what I order. I've been there at 10 in the morning. You know what I get? 2 hot dogs. That's what I go there for. They got a good coney. They serve it the right way. David Baker at 7:38.
Okay.
I am waiting on Pastner. This is driving me nuts. He literally he called at like 9. We're on the air and he called. And he's like, sorry, man, check my messages late. I could do 5 minutes now. And he's like, I guess you're on the air. And he texts me and he's like, let's get something done here for Thursday or Friday. And I'm like, how about Friday at 8? I've not heard back from him. I text him again. So as soon as I hear something, I'll let you know. I don't know if you saw his comments, by the way.
I did.
That's why I want him on. He's had to backtrack, but he basically said, why do you want to own an NBA team? You know how much money that costs in Las Vegas? I can give you a college team for $12 million. You want to own a team? $12 million bucks. And he went on to say, he was, if we're recruiting a kid against UCLA, Kentucky, and they're offering him $1 million and we're offering him $100,000, I don't care how much he likes me, I'm not getting him. He goes, $12 million, I can compete for any player in the country. And then he had to back down. You don't own our team. But I do think his premise is a legitimate premise for the UNLVs of the world. And I brought up FGCU. You're telling me someone in Port Royal couldn't say, I got $10 million to give me a basketball team?
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that match game?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're out of here. Final Thursday of July, Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Go to MillerandMoulton.com. Sign up for the Dr. Roto Fantasy Football Summit. It's Tuesday the 11th, 12 days away. Dr. Roto, dinner, drinks available, winning your fantasy league, and having a cheat sheet to keep with you throughout the season to be general manager. That's all. MillerandMoulton.com. Sign up. Hope to see you a week from Tuesday.
All right. Now that that's off your chest, let's do this.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
All right. Had to double check and make sure I had a good, bad, and ugly today. Yesterday, I balked. 1863, President Lincoln issues an eye for an eye order to shoot a rebel prisoner for every black prisoner shot. Damn.
Now, that's hardcore right there.
Yeah, right. And he was the nice guy. 1928, George Eastman shows the first amateur color motion pictures to guests at his New York house. One of those guests was Edison. By the way, that's George Eastman, Eastman, Kodak, and Edison just hanging out. Wonder what they were drinking in 28. I'm guessing gin. Just a guess. Today in 1945, after delivering the atomic bomb across the Pacific, the USS Indianapolis is torpedoed and sunk by Japanese submarines. It killed 880 of the crew, many of whom are attacked by sharks. It was actually the inspiration for the movie Jaws. They were out there forever, by the way, because it was a secret mission and no one knew they'd been shot or torpedoed, rather. Pro wrestling debuted on U.S. primetime today in 1948 on the Dumont Television Network. It was today in 56 that Eisenhower signs into a law officially declaring "In God We Trust" to be the nation's official motto. And it mandated that it was printed on all American paper currency. It had been placed on U.S. coins since the Civil War. Willie McCovey makes his debut today in 59. He went 4 for 4.
Stretch. His nickname was Stretch.
Mine never was. Today in 65, LBJ signed Medicare into law. David, they did it today. Today was the day, and they haven't done it since. I never bring up this tournament, but I will today. At Wembley, Jeff Hurst, a hat trick. England beats West Germany to win the World Cup. 1966.
Yep. 60 years ago today. Unbelievable.
That same day, the number one song in the land was Wild Thing by the Trogs. Nixon had to give up the tapes today in 74.
Yep. Under subpoena.
Yeah. Supreme Court says you're giving us the damn tapes. That same day, the House Judiciary Committee voted a third article of impeachment against the president.
Yep. They basically said, listen, if I was you, I'd start getting some cardboard boxes. I give you about a week and a half.
Today in 76, at the Montreal Olympics, a world record was set in the decathlon by Bruce Jenner. I can say that because in 76, his name was Bruce Jenner. 1980. I'm just moving on, David. I'm just going to move right on there.
I think it speaks for itself.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Sad day today in 80. J.R. Richards suffers a stroke and collapses playing catch before an Astros game. It ends his career.
Yep.
One of the great flamethrowers of all time, man.
Staggeringly impressive and intimidating.
Chief Nakahoma removed today in 82 to make room for more seating.
Braves ended up winning the division in 82. And 1 or 2 games better than the Dodgers. So they were packing them in finally.
Fay Vincent forced Steinbrenner to resign today in 1990.
Hey, you should give Fay Vincent a World Series ring or two. If you don't get George out of the way and let Gene Michael and Buck Showalter and a couple of people take over the organization, they ain't winning those World Series.
Couple of music things for you. First one in 91, Metallica releases Enter Sandman. 96, Sublime released their self-titled album. It was their last with lead singer Brad Knoll, who died of a heroin overdose 2 months before the release. The Blair Witch Project, the low-budget horror film released today in 99, a great album. It really is. The Strokes, Is This It? Released today in 2001. The last Volkswagen Beetle rolls off the assembly line today in Mexico in 2003. Yeah, the old style one. I know they redid it, but this was, the slug bug, man. And the cult classic stoner flick, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, released today in 2004. Burger sales of White Castle went up 30% the next week. God, that's fantastic. Henry Ford, Casey Stengel, reggae star Jimmy Cliff, NASCAR driver and announcer Neil Bonnet, and Dolphin punter Reggie Roby would have all celebrated birthdays today. Buddy Guy is 90. Actually saw him with my mom at Barbara B. Mann. Fantastic. Paul Anka's 85 and still thinks he's a player. Arnold, 79. Frank Stallone, 76. He makes this list simply for the opening scene in Rocky. Take it back. Do. Bill Cartwright, 69. So is Clint Hurdle. Lawrence Fishburne, 65. Hooper, Chris Mullen, and, Phoebe there, Lisa Kudrow, they're 63. Movie maker Christopher Nolan is 56. Hilary Swank, 52. Graham McDowell, 47. He won the 2010 Open. Hope Solo. Hopefully she doesn't hit anybody today. She's 45. Kevin Pittsnoggle, David, is 42.
Love my Pittsnoggle. Okay. I want to know how many car dealerships does he have?
No, isn't he like a teacher?
Oh, is he? Because that's what I figured. With him and Gansey got West Virginia that close to the Final Four. I just figured Pittsnoggle was going to own car dealerships everywhere. Where are you going? Pittsnoggle Ford.
It makes perfect sense. And Dylan Larkin, he's 30. No idea where he's going to play next year, but boy, they don't like Yzerman as a GM anymore in Detroit, but the fan base turned on Larkin here in the last 7 or 8 days.
Yeah. It's real easy to as well. Yeah, we haven't won anything, and you didn't help us either.
Right.
At least not enough. Yep.
Well, and there's some rumors out that he said some not so nice things about the organization, and I was treated better with the Olympic team. And it's like, dude, you're the captain. If things aren't, that's on you. So interesting. Yes. Interesting. Because there were a lot of people when Yzerman was gone that thought, oh, maybe they can salvage this and keep Larkin. And now more people are like, yeah, get rid of him.
I don't know if you had this, but it was today in 56 that Eisenhower changed our currency and put "In God We Trust" on it.
Yeah. So made it the nation motto today. Right. It was, like I said, it was on our coins from the Civil War. Paper currency starting today. By the way, Kevin Pittsnoggle is the principal of John Kerr Elementary School.
That's fantastic.
Isn't it?
Especially because he could take a kid out, indoor or outdoor court and give him the ball and say, here's the deal. If you win, we'll do it your way. And if I win, you'll do it my way. What do you say?
A little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Love me some Pittsnoggle. Really do. One of the great all-time names.
Louisville beat them in overtime in the region final. They hadn't gone to a Final Four since Jerry West. Bob Huggins eventually got them there.
For the good today, we go to a library where an overdue book was returned at a Welsh library just a little late. In fact, it was checked out of the library in 1910. Apparently, they only have Mr. O'Sullivan return the books that his grandfather, Walter Griffith Owen, borrowed from the library in 1910. This is a story for you, David. The bad, we go to Somerset County in Pennsylvania.
Hello.
Where Mark Klein and his brother were out looking for timber rattlesnakes. Out looking for them.
Why?
You'll never imagine what happened to him.
They got bit by one.
He got bit by one. He said, I sat my hook down and reached down. I saw her head snap out the other side of the rock and she nailed me right on the back of the finger. They called 911 and apparently he's going to be fine. He received 28 vials of antivenom and has faced weeks of recovery. I'm sorry here. Your hobby is to go out and look for rattlesnakes. What kind of hobby is that? For the ugly, we go to Texas, where A 32-year-old woman and a 75-year-old man were busted for having loud sex in an apartment complex pool in front of children. When the cops showed up, they gave a hell of a reason for why they weren't having sex in the pool at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. The 75-year-old said they were not actually having sex because he has, and I quote, a penile implant.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
He also had a couple of doobies on him and got busted with those as well. They were released on bond. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, July the 30th, here on Miller and Moulton, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, offering great pay, benefits, overtime, all kinds of good things. You know where to go, capecops.com. capecops.com.
10 baseball games tonight. How many of these are going to determine buyers or sellers? Rays and Rangers at noon today wrap up their series, so that won't. Both teams in first place. Mighty Nooner at the Trop. Mets and Marlins 4-game series begins tonight in New York. Mark, if the Marlins split it and they're above 500, do you buy?
I would.
I would too.
I mean, I would. I think they need to have a push in August and September and show this fan base that they care. Because, David, to your point earlier, if a cap is indeed put in, here's a team that has to spend money next year. Has to. Like double their salary money. Right.
To $100 million more. Twins this afternoon wrap up their series against the Royals. Yankees this afternoon wrap up their series in the South Side against the White Sox. Cubs and Cardinals wrap up their series today in St. Louis. Braves begin a 4-game series at home against the Nats. I think this is a big series as to whether or not the Nats are buyers or sellers. I think they should be sellers.
I think the Cardinals, too. They've got the Cubs today, and then they go to Toronto for 3 this weekend. I think that's a big one.
Pirates begin a 4-game series in Cincinnati tonight against the Reds. I think it determines whether they're buyers or sellers. I think they should be buyers.
I agree.
Red Sox wrap up things against the A's, and Mariners wrap things up against the Dodgers. Boy, how many more games can the Mariners lose before they become sellers? They're 3 below 500, 2.5 back in the West.
And they play the Twins this weekend for what it's worth. I mean, that's a big series for both. Really is.
Say they lose to the Dodgers and lose 2 out of 3 to the Twins. Aren't you sellers?
Miller and Moulton. Football Friday tomorrow? Fantasy football season is here, and there's only one place to get the edge. Join Miller and Moulton for the Fantasy Football Summit with Dr. Roto at Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe, Tuesday, August 11th, 7 p.m. Get championship-winning draft strategies, sleeper picks, busts to avoid, and answers to all your fantasy questions from one of the nation's top experts, Dr. Roto. Whether you're playing for bragging rights or big money, don't draft without this event. Tuesday, August 11th, the Fantasy Football Summit at Shoeless Joe's with Dr. Roto. Sign up, Miller and Moulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real. The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com, capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton